Just another sunny day in Southern California. It's where the people came to play. Don't let them transform you. Oh, come and see what you've been missing on a little slice of heaven. It's the only place we're living. It's that West Coast point of view. Easy when it's always summertime fun for you and I. Carefree attitude. Who cares what the people think? It's been turning kinda gray in Southern California, but I'm allergic to the rain. What happened to euphoria? Oh, don't worry about it, damn thing. I'm too excited. Dark liquor with the palm trees. It's all or nothing. Ooh, it's all or nothing. All the signs, it's ocean now.
And we are live. If you can see us, if you can hear us, let us know what branch of service you served. Let us know the time that you did serve, or just say hello, where you're calling from, where you're seeing from, where you're at. Welcome to Friday Night Live. Today we're talking VA claims, veteran artists, NFTs, trading, something to do with a monkey, something to do with a dog, some crazy stuff, vets and fun stuff. So it is going to be amazing and interesting. My name is DP, Disabled Army Veteran, and host to the show with amazing folks that I get to call my co-hosts. Over to you, Amy.
I am so bummed right now
Uh-oh.
because I was totally listening to the music and so excited, and Nia was like, "Mom, stop, don't even
Oh,
start."
there you go.
Right? I
Come
know.
on now.
It
I'm
is
like,
Friday,
Another
so
sunny
yes,
day
like don't start, Mom.
in Southern
Totally
California.
killed my vibe.
don't kill the vibe, Mom.
I know, right? Yes. What's up, guys? I'm Amy, Air Force disabled veteran. Happy to be hanging with you guys tonight. Excited to hear about all the fun things that DP has to talk about. And Brian. What's up, Brian?
What's up? What's up? What's up, Amy? What's up, DP? What's up, all y'all in YouTube and Facebook and social media land? Brian here, disabled Army vet, coming to you from remote location in the hills of Branson, Missouri. So, for those of you who've been to Branson, probably one of the most patriotic cities in the country. Uh, it's just a cool place to be. Good family friendly environment. So
Nice.
good to join you guys.
Yeah, we got it. So for those that don't know, this is actually Brian's theme song.
Yes.
We always had. So since he's partying
And
elsewhere,
my daughter's over there dancing,
there
but
it
they
is.
tell me not to.
We always show like the shoulder, but we never show the hips when it comes to Brian. So
Yeah,
we have to hit him with a little hip action.
I'm not that loose anymore, so those are the early days.
Yeah. Let's bring up some comments. If you're watching us, I was just updating literally a few channels. Wherever you are watching us right now, except YouTube, you will see a link to our page on YouTube where we're at right now. So you have the ability to click on that link. YouTube tends to play a little better. So if you're watching on my personal page, I have to physically go look for your comment. It doesn't pop up like the other ones. So I updated and put a link on the Facebook page where you're seeing this. So if you're seeing us on our page, or you're on my personal page, or you are elsewhere, YouTube tends to act better. So that link is there as well. So that is a little administrative note there. Let's see. We got some people in the house. So let's say hey real quick before we get down to business. We got
What's up,
Hiram in the
Hiram?
house.
Whoop, whoop.
Hi, Ram.
Yeah, go ahead and get Hiram is in the house, one of our amazing advisors. Part of Team Buffalo, which we may talk about not too far from now.
Yeah.
We got our brother Manny in the house, Manuel Salazar. Good evening. You as
All
our
right,
retired
Hello,
man.
Iowa
sir.
90.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for being
Nice.
here. Let's give him applause. We got Vaynerchuck is in the house. What is up? Pleasure seeing you. Good to see you. You subscribe. We saw it pop in today. We
Yeah.
got Rick Cook in the house.
Woo.
Hi,
Rick,
Hey,
DP,
Rick.
Brian, and Miss Amy.
it's been a while, Rick. We missed you,
Yeah.
brother.
Yes.
We got the one and
Has
only, the
been.
OG Lisa Wildman is
Lisa.
in the building. Her last
All
name is
right.
fitting. Wild Man, woman. She's in the building, the back scenes, doing some amazing things. We got Bill in the house. Good to have you here, my brother.
Yes.
I
What's
will
up, Bill?
not, I repeat, try to butcher your last name. So I'm just gonna call you Bill. I'm not calling your name short. I just know for a fact that there's no way I'm gonna get that right. So I don't want to be, that dude. Um, Bill said I used to move. I used to be able to move like that before
Yes.
arthritis. This is
Yep.
this is a true statement. So we live vicariously through videos and pictures of how I used to be. We got someone real near and dear to Air Force veteran Amy in the house here. Carol is in the building.
Yes, Carol.
Carol.
Hi,
We got
Carol.
the biggest supporter of all things Apple products in his house. We got
Sam.
Sam in the house, of
Sam.
course. Hello,
There you
Apple
go.
proud. For those that are new, there's a subtle rivalry that happens between Apple and Android. We do not take sides, but there are some people who will ride
Yes,
or
we do.
die.
We do take sides. We absolutely take sides. We take Apple side.
So there is an Apple component. Bill, retired Army, 100% PNT. One, thank you for your service. Thank you for being
Uh-huh.
here and tuning in. To the Apple comment, of course, you know how it goes. It wouldn't be
Yes.
an Apple night without that. We got Joey G in the house, aka Beatley Art. I'm pretty sure I messed that up as well. But Joey is in the house, one of our veteran artists. You may have seen him pop up before when we had him come in and do a little stand up. So he is a comedian and an artist and a veteran. So he literally is a jack of all trade, and sadly
He's
for us,
funny.
a master
He's
of
funny.
none. Um, let's see, we got Lisa in the Lisa sending some virtual hugs. Sam didn't want the red apples to feel alone, so he gave us some green ones. And of course, update on all things Apple. He did get the 13 Pro. Just putting it
All
out
right.
there in case Lisa pops up later. Chaser, that is. So
Upgrade to the latest.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So today we have some pretty amazing things to talk about. Um, we're gonna have kind of a Q&A thing, so as you all have questions, we'll kind of go with the flow there. But we really have some amazing things to discuss. So we're talking VA claims, we're talking veteran artists. We have a few of them watching, and trading services as well. Some of the things that we have. So we'll jump over to veteransnetwork.club shortly to show some of the things that we have there. But recapping, a lot has happened in the past 2 weeks. Not only did Brian travel and now is broadcasting from a remote location, um, we have some pretty amazing news.
Yeah.
So I think we should get right kind of
Wait,
to it.
the best news is,
What's the best news?
can I get a horn?
Oh, wait a second. Let's prep the horn here. Do 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 do. Yes,
DP turned 40 yesterday.
I
So
I I
happy
did.
birthday to
Yeah.
DP.
There it is.
Yes. Happy birthday. And
Roll the
happy
odometer
birthday
into
to,
another
I'm
decade.
telling you. And what do they
right?
say? They say like 30 is the new 20, 40 is the new 30. Unless you're a
No,
veteran,
40
40
is
is
the
the
new
new 50,
40.
50 is the new 60. So,
40 is the new 40.
all
And
right.
happy birthday to Brian's wife as well,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Miss
yes,
Lofton.
yes.
It's a good month for birthdays.
I'm telling you. I am
Yes.
telling you. Bill said he remembers 40 like it was yesterday. So we'll just keep it at that, Bill. Like it was yesterday. um, Sam says, just a baby. Yes, yes, with non-baby bills. So there's that part. Lisa's a happy for thank you, thank you. Yeah, there you go. See, you did this for the record. Look, he's using his iPhone to put all these emojis. So look at
Yes,
that.
yes,
All
I
Nice.
this
love it.
right
I
here
love it. I love it.
is
The power of the
uh
iPhone.
yes, power of the iPhone. Of course, Hiram gets it right. He's been 40 for a while.
There you
I mean,
go.
I think the odometer just kind of gets stuck. So
How
yeah,
was
that is
how was your birthday?
hmm?
How was
Yeah.
it? How was your birthday? Tell us all about it.
um it was 24 hours long. It went by just like any other day, not too crazy. The funniest thing
Oh,
was making my birthday private on social media, so I don't have all this slew of people, just commenting. I've never liked that for some reason. It's one of those things of like, nah. But inevitably, somebody makes a post, and then it becomes like a whole whirlwind. So there's that part. But
I see.
no,
I almost did it. I almost said happy birthday, but I was like, well,
my aunt beat you to it.
oh, well, I was like, well, when people don't put their birthday on there where it alerts you, I think, well, maybe they don't want it to be public. So I tried to not do that, but I
Yeah.
almost,
Oh no, that's fine. It's not a big
yes.
thing. I just think I turned it off a while back, and I just never put it back on. But my 86, 7 year old grandma called, and that was a long message. Yeah, I love it when grandmas call you and they give you this long, blessing that never ends with a song, and then they hang up on you. It's like, oh, thank you.
Aw,
So short, sweet. Well, no, long, to the point, and sweet, not short. But no, it was
Nice.
good. I
nice.
took some time, did a little spa thing that my lovely wife sent me to, so that was pretty cool. Got a chance to do that, and did some work,
Nice.
and we revamped things. So another typical day in the neighborhood. So
That's
um,
awesome.
Nice.
yeah, which actually creates a good segue into what's happened this week. It has been a crazy week of amazing things. So only because it's pertinent to the subject at hand here. When it comes to VA claims, just to kind of be cognizant of people's time. A majority of what we'll talk about today will be some of the new advances that we have. One comment that was put by Bill, which completely I agree. So if there's questions to the claim side, we usually do touch a lot on it. So we'll answer questions as they come. Sometimes we'll kind of go a deep dive into denials or secondaries. So we'll kind of just take them as they come. But secondary claims are overlooked claims, especially for folks who are stuck at that 80, 90
Hmm.
range. It's easier to go from 0 to 40. It's easier to go from 0 to 70. But once you get to that, especially to that 90, you need to have some significant claims to be able to move you up. So secondary claims tend to be the ones that folks tend to sleep on and don't pay too much attention to. But yet, it's one of those things where it's kind of putting the cart before the horse. And for a lot of veterans who've been out of service for a long time, it's hard to be able to say, well, this was a service situation. No, you hurt your back in service. Your back in turn aggravates your hip. Your hip in turn aggravated your knees. Your knee in turn aggravated your feet. That chain reaction has to be accounted for that way because the fact is, in service, there's nothing that affected your feet. It's your back that threw off your gait, that threw off then how you walk, which in turn affected your feet. If you cannot follow that rationale when it comes to secondaries, you have a problem, right? You have migraines that are service connected. You take medication, but that medication causes a GERD or acid reflux or IBS. That's a secondary thing. If you say the service caused this, it did not. There's no records that you ever had IBS, acid reflux issues, but the medication you take, that's what caused the issue that you need to be able to identify. So something like math. If you don't put things in order, right? Like what's that? I'm pretty sure that if my kids hear this stuff, they're gonna throw me a book at me. Like PEMDAS, right? When you're doing like parentheses, addition, multiplication, etc. Like you have to go in order. If you don't do your math in order, it won't work. And when it comes to these claims, it's like that. You have to
Yeah.
kind of
Yep.
put things in order. If not, you got a problem. All the math
Right.
whizzes out there are like, ugh, cringe. Why would you make that reference incomplete? Any alibis, Amy, Brian, on that before we move press?
No, I totally agree. Secondary claims are the most important claims because more often than not, that's going to be what pushes you to 100. Well, really, that is going to be what pushes you to 100, unless you just have a holy grail, which is not often. And so,
This
I
is a,
I
this is a rare
totally agree.
sighting here, Amy. By the way, just I have to make note of this. Hold on. Where is the daggone
Nice.
horn? For those that don't know,
That's
if
impressive
you
right there.
see,
That is,
well,
yes.
E1 to Chief 3, Chief Warrant Officer 3. First of all, let's get something straight. There are chief warrant officers in the world. They're just hard to find. They have magical powers where you see a full-bird colonel and a four-star general before you see a gaggle of chief warrant officers. They're taught like special skills, and they have special places and bases where they go through a door like the Matrix and wind up somewhere else. So warrant officers are by far some of the most valued folks in the military that you don't see all the time. So
Yeah.
here we have
Yep.
a chief warrant officer, which again, as long as we've been doing this, we haven't really seen any chiefs. We've seen a lot of enlisted, we've seen a lot of officers. See, so put some
That's
respect on
nice.
Bill's name. But that's a great journey,
Yes.
E1 to CW3, Chief Warrant
Yes.
Officer 3, Army, of course, 85
The
to
best.
06. That smirk says it all. We'll leave it at that. And again, to the point that we talked about, right? 11, 10%, 320s, and 150. Those maths do add up. So all these different things are in there. So let's see here.
Yes, and he commented about tinnitus being
Mhm.
10% and then getting to 100% with secondaries. I've seen people get to 100 off of tinnitus.
I've seen people
So,
get to 100 off of a need rated at 0.
yes, I had. So one that I was absolutely shocked about was an ankle at 10%. He had been out for like 20 years, and we did somatic symptom disorder secondary to his ankle, and he went to 100%. That was my most recent one of that sort of thing. So it does happen. So, if you don't know, you don't know. So just ask the questions and reach out to us if you need any help. We're happy to help you out. And that actually, Sam, is a good segue to DP because he just happened to have some firsthand knowledge of that this week, right? With
Which
your
one?
son?
Which one? Oh, yes,
The
actually. So
educational.
one of the things we're gonna put out, we'll put a blog post out. So in our case, I am a veteran, as is my better half. She's a veteran as well. So we literally can trade spouse shirts as needed because we're dual service in that regard. Um, so in our kids' situation, having a high schooler, one of the things that we were able to get done this week was pretty much put all the pieces in place for his Chapter 35 benefits for college, and as well as state benefits. Right, so we have a state benefit ebook. If you're interested in that ebook that breaks down all the benefits state by state, you can make a point to reach out to veteransnetwork.club, veterans plural network.club. Again, we'll pull it up here shortly. And you'll see in the contact us section, you can reach out to us and we'll go ahead and get that to you. We're revamping the website, so you'll start seeing some resources and things kind of change around too. But if you email us, we'll go ahead and get that to you. But one of the things I want to impress upon folks is in this case, you have an instance here now where, like, in this, if someone is in my state, they have the ability to claim benefits for state benefits and also claim federal benefits. Now, because of our rating, one of the things that we have the ability to do is he qualifies for free in state tuition. So he can go to any college in the state and have that paid for. So that money goes to the school because of the state benefit. On top of that, you have Chapter 35, which in turn gives him that stipend. So for Chapter 35, unlike the GI Bill, that money goes to the student. So now there goes a monthly stipend that goes to him that would have been used for college tuition, but because it's covered by the state, well, guess what he can do now? Focus and not have to necessarily go do a job per se, because you also have a stipend, which, it's the benefit itself, but you can kind of use those two things there. So Chapter 35 wrapped again with the state benefit as well. It's a huge combination because basically where we live, he has the ability to kind of use those two benefits at the same time and really focus on his things there. So for those that are not aware of that, again, it's kind of one of those things that most people know about it, but nobody really shows it, right? So we'll be putting out some content on that, showing about how to apply for those benefits. In your state, it may be a little bit different, but we'll kind of use my state as an example, and we'll talk about some of the other states that also have similar benefits that you may be able to apply for. So some of the things that for sure, if you have a dependent who is going to go ahead and go to college, you can go ahead and do that. To Bill's point, if you have student loans, that's a whole different conversation when it comes to student loan forgiveness. Speaking specifically to Chapter 35 dependent benefits, like you have the 35 and you have the FRI benefits. So there'll be more to come for that. So kind of keep a lookout for that. As far as utilizing student loan repayments. Again, forgiveness, that's a huge, huge benefit. Special horn to someone in the house. Hello, Curtis.
There we
Brian's
go.
spouse. Maria says, I am using this sucker right now. So I'm telling you, it applies to the spouse or the dependent. So in our case, it would be the dependent because obviously I use my benefits and she used her benefits. So our benefits in turn now go shout out to Maria, another one of our amazing
Yes.
advisors. Don't call it a comeback, call it an Android overtake. Lisa's in the house. Thank
Hey,
you for being
Lisa.
here.
What's up, Lisa?
Yeah. We got Joe Compton in the house. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, Joe.
So that brings me to a pretty interesting segue, which is all that's been happening this week. So some of the things that we did share that we have are trading services, signal services. So over in our service sections of veterannetworks.club, you will see some of the programs we have. Again, we'll do a jump over to the website and show some of those things here shortly. But we're off. We're trading. Brian has been testing, and he is enjoying. Real quickly, how have you been making out since you've taken the plunge, good sir, to the trading services?
Well, I can say I am definitely winning. It's been great, because I started this off not being somebody who had a lot of trading experience. I mean, I've seen charts, but I've never really studied charts. I couldn't break it down, using all the technical terms of, like the candlesticks and even what all that means. So, I wasn't maybe necessarily a complete novice when I started using our own signals, but I was still pretty fresh. And
Wait a second.
Glenn. What's up, Glenn?
oh,
He said, "Is there a time change or
Glenn,
am I late for
what's up,
formation?"
Glenn?
What's going on, my brother? And
late
Glenn
for.
is in the house. You are not late. You are right on time, my brother. No, no. But Brian, while you're saying that, so I just pulled up something on screen because it just helps it out.
Yep.
Because it works, right? So to your point, you don't understand. You didn't have a background in trading or doing these different things. What is this crazy crap we're seeing here on the screen? So folks that don't know can kind of figure
So,
out what is all this.
so what's really cool about this is the trading view chart window. So this is the chart application that our signals plug into. You see these green buy signals, and then you see the corresponding red sell signals. Well, these are intelligent signals based off of what symbol that you're tracking. So whether it's a stock or crypto, or even if you're doing forex or options, um, the great thing is that basically if you can trade it, these signals can apply, and you can choose how frequently you want to choose. How frequently you want to trade. So, for example, DP's got this on a 5-minute window. You can go anywhere down to something ridiculously quick, which I wouldn't recommend personally, but going down to a minute. You could go up to an hour or more and trade maybe just once a day or a few times a week total. So it's a lot of flexibility in how often somebody wants to try, how much somebody wants to trade. Most of us don't have the ability to sit down in front of a computer, which is why, hey, you get notifications on your phone and you can actually execute from your phone. So yeah, it's really been very easy to follow. So
Okay,
as like, I like to use Napoleon's Colonel as that I like to play that role. There you go, the floating hand. I love it.
but this is a point that I really wanted to literally interject myself, both figuratively and literally, as you can see. Uh, if you are a regular person, again, not financial advice, this is just systems that we're using. And if you're someone that says, hey, I know I can kind of go at this alone, go right at it, right?
Yeah.
Literally, this is a regular chart. You have the ability to kind of go and do stuff. But I want to just show you something here that's happening real time. So right now I'm on the 1 hour chart, and I really want to just showcase that, to Brian's point, you can kind of time this however you want. And again, we'll have more deeper dives into this in video speaking to this point. But this, for example, here, this buy signal that I'm hovering over was December 2nd at 1300 hours. And then the sell signal came at 2000 hours. So consider that difference there. So if you're not someone who wants to sit completely on the computer, you have the ability to do a buy here at 201 and a sell here at 206. Now you may say that's $5. Well, again, depending on where you're at, $5 beats no dollars, because if you remove the signals, depending where you're at, you may well have been holding here and look at where we're at down here. So again, there's different ways to go at this. Some people are big. I trade some, let's say Litecoin. I hold Litecoin. So there's some bags I'm holding, which means I'm not trading it. That's just what it's saved and it's away. But then there's another portion that I use for day trading because I like to do that. Now, depending on how frequent I want to trade, that's where the time comes in. So these are the hour charts. If we go to, for example, the 5-minute chart, right? Look at the buy signal here, December 3rd, 1820, sell signal December 3rd, 1900. So there you got about a 40-minute, separation when it comes to that. This sell signal here came at December 3rd, 1425, and a buy signal December 3rd at 1525. So consider this. Look at how much this tanked. Now, I really want to showcase this at the 1-hour chart because it has that drastic drop. Right here, you had a buy signal at 2 in the morning. Again, crypto is 24/7, so you don't have to necessarily run it all the time. You can stop when you stop. But let's say you chose to buy in. It told you to sell here at 10 a.m., and look what came after that. At some point down here, there'll be a buy signal to kind of get back in the game. So you can start seeing here in real time, the algorithm kind of telling you when to go ahead and sell, wait, get that buy, come up here. And for some of these, if we start to zoom out, go back. Again, when you zoom out, which is what I always say, look at the drop here, we'll go back some. Look at this. Someone sold at 227 and they bought right back at 192. That may or may not have not been a trade I took. I'm not going to say or confirm. But I'll tell you, if you had the ability to literally go ahead and buy at 219, sell at 227, and then literally wait, and then here comes 191, and then you're back in game up to 196. Again, look at the numbers and kind of zooming out as to what these are. Now, to the last point I'll bring here is it doesn't matter really what you're trying to play with here. So let's say, for example, you want to say, I want to go for Bitcoin. Well, you have the ability to go ahead and pull Bitcoin up, and if that's what you want to trade, it'll overlay this on Bitcoin. If you want to go ahead and say, hey, I want to do regular stocks, and I'm going to go for Amazon, well, let's go ahead and pull Amazon up, and then it overlays this as well. So the algorithm is going to play no matter where you're at. So Amazon, sell at 37.50, buying it back at 35.37, sold it at 35.47, because look what happened right after that. So
Well,
again,
and not to mention with stock, you can also do the shorts as well as the longs, right?
correct.
So
Let's not get too crazy now. Let's not get too
sorry.
crazy. Longs and
I
shorts.
learned a new term, so I like to throw it out there like I'm
We're doing buys and sells. See, this is why I said Brian's holding back. He was like, oh, I don't know. Nah, Brian he is deep in this. He's over here shorting and long. And we will discuss this as well soon, because I think it's good to start expanding the vocabulary of what longs and shorts are. Like people may have seen the big short, et cetera, when you're betting against it. So when it comes to all this volatility, if you know what you're doing or you have a strategy, it really, doesn't matter, because you have a way to make your own. So here's, for example, Amazon at 34.84, and here's a sell at 37.54. Again, if you have a whole, depending on what you're in, and you don't have to own a whole stock. So let's break that down, because that's always a question when it comes to this. And on the bottom, you see the oscillator, where it starts to tell you, and you can start seeing the change as it's coming, right? So you start to see it's kind of it's ready to go ahead and flip, and then boom, here red. So you start to see how it marries up on the top and the bottom. So we have two signals actually at play here, which is our veteran network buy and sell signal and our oscillator. So when you look at the bottom part, that actually is also playing off the top as well. So you can kind of get an idea of what that is. And again, same thing. You could trade the 5-minute chart and then literally write that whole, train wreck down and still make a profit for it. Or you can look at, again, whatever fancies your, in trading tendencies. There's Tesla, for example. If we wanted to switch this and say, let's go check out Forex, you have the ability to look at the British pound to the US dollar. Same situation, right? Sell it at $1.32, buy it back here at 132 and 108. So these margins here are a little bit different. So when it's all said and done, So this is algorithm, Joe. As far as this is going, so this is a signal, an indicator. So basically, this is telling you execute the buy, execute the sell. You have the ability to do that. So when I talked about crypto, because crypto goes 24/7. If you look at here, for example, let's just pull a stock up because I think it's good to bring this up. One of the main differences is the stock market here, as you can see over the highlight, is closed. Well, the one thing that doesn't close is crypto. Crypto pretty much runs all the time, 24/7, 365. So it's always green, it's always on. So someone like myself, let's say I'm playing on the 5 minute chart and I'm going to shut it down for the day. I can take this sell here at 55138 and pick it back up in the morning when I want to go ahead and do that. So I have the ability to make these trades when I'm ready, when I want to. Hence, it's a signal, it's an indicator. Whereas what is another service we're going to have is an automated service, which takes this algorithm, automates it, and you have the ability to connect it so it goes ahead and does and executes said buys and sells. So the software this is running is called TradeView. Dream Jock, to your question. So this is TradeView. You can download this, use it on your own. They have a lot of overlays you can do. So this is an overlay that we have our algorithm, our system. When you subscribe to our service, that pretty much overlays. So this is a regular view of what TradeView would be, for example. And if you want to go ahead and then subscribe to our Signal service, it overlays over your account. And we have more information on that over at veteransnetwork.club. Over on our services side as well, you can see that there, or smarttrading.vet. Smarttrading.vet will take you there. Brian.
Yeah, no, it's and the thing is you don't even realize it necessarily, or at least I. So I was doing some trades on like CRO, crypto.com's coin, and it moved up like it was less than $1. It
Ooh,
wasn't a
look at that!
big
Look at our
jump.
website. Boop, 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 boop.
That is
That needs a
sexy.
home.
Yeah. But realizing that move was almost a full percent increase, you start to realize that every time you want to take a profit like that, it's compounding to what you had before. So, I mean, to have an even 1% increase within one trade is incredible. So, yeah, it's the possibilities for this are just incredible. And so this has really got me fired up. I love getting into it and trading with it. And if you're not comfortable with it, there is within tradingview.com, you can do paper trading, which is actually recommended for somebody who's particularly just trying to get the feel for it, or maybe you're a novice and trying to understand how things work. Paper trading, there you go, right there is it's something that just plugs right in there. It starts you off with a balance of 100,000 fake
it's paper trade,
dollars.
literally.
It's paper trade, right? So
So you have the ability to
you can
literally
pretend trade right there
take buys and
and
sells
track
as
it.
if though they were real, but they're not. It's just
Yeah.
literally you're just doing it on paper and see
And
whether
this
or not
way,
you would have actually, if you would have used real dollars, what that would have looked like.
so it's a great way to just verify that this is going to, number one, it's not that this isn't going to work. It's how do you want to apply your strategy, I guess, is one way of looking at it. Do you want to be somebody who trades more frequently? Are you going to trade crypto and stock and everything?
Which
Or are you
actually
going
it's
to
a good
focus
it's a
on
good
one, two, or
question,
three?
Brian, to what Joe
Yep.
brought up. The question is any mechanism to automate buying and selling based on someone's goals. So like we said earlier,
Yep.
there is going to be an automated service that we're going to roll out. Some folks like to do it themselves, and that's fine. Again, what I like about this, and I want to just really again hammer it down. We'll have a more in-depth on this, not on a live like this, but there'll be videos and things that we'll do. We're going to do a series of lunch sessions. We're going to launch some stuff so you can actually trade with us, spend some time with us. So if you're subscribing to the service, those things are going to be available to you. So I'll do a shameless plug here in a second. But what I will say is what I like about this is I want to focus and just highlight that if you're new, like Brian said, right, you're brand new to this and you don't want to really put real money, then paper trade and just see if you would have really put $100, what would it look like, right? Because I'm showing you something, but again, you really have to kind of run it, test it for yourself. We have packages where you can kind of test it, trial it, etc. But I really want to just focus on one thing here, and it's the times. All right. If you're someone who has, let's say this weekend, the kids are gone, I'm home alone, I just want to go ahead and just do some things, then maybe you want to go ahead and trade a little bit. So guess what? You put this on a 5 minute chart, look at the times, right? At December 3rd, 10:20 buy signal. December 3rd, 11:10 sell signal. December 3rd, 12:25 sell buy signal. 12, 14, 20 sell, and so on. As you get now, I would recommend to stay within the 5 and 15. Look at the time
Yeah.
differences for the 15, 9:30, 11:30, 15:30, 2100. So again, you're not sitting in front of a computer. Now you can go ahead and get crazy if you're just that type of person that wants to go ahead and run, and it'll overlay over a 5 second chart. But at that token, you're literally looking at like minutes between 21:26, 21:27, 21:27:40, 21:28. Like you're literally operating here, within seconds and minutes and so forth. This is a whole different ball game. I would say for the average person, 5 minutes gives you enough because remember, this is a signal. This is saying, hey, Brian, you should sell. Hey, Brian, you should buy. You have to in turn then go and execute that. And we'll also show you how you can do that on Coinbase Pro or wherever you choose to do your trading. So if you're someone, for example, says, hey, I'd rather play with a bigger sum of money, but I don't want to be in front of a computer, well, then take it all the way out. If you were to run a 1 hour chart on this, this is November 26, 9 a.m. This is November 27, 7 p.m. Buy again the 28th at 5 p.m. and go ahead and, so again, this is the 28th, and then sell the 29th at 7 a.m. If you want to take it out even further, let's just take it to like the 4 hour chart, right? And looking at the timestamps, because again, it depends on what you are wanting to do. So if you're comfortable saying, hey, November 27 at 11 o'clock, I went ahead and bought, and then I sold on the 29th, 2 whole days later. And on the 1st of December, I bought again, and on the 2nd of December, I sold again, right? So you have that much time. And what this time thing is doing, if you look to the right here, there's a countdown over here. I should be able to zoom in here just to kind of show it. This is actually what's counting down that bar, right? So when you look at that signal, that's what's counting. So when we put, for example, a 5 minute, a 1 hour, etc., that's how long until this bar closes. So in about X amount of time, this will close. Now, if I were to go ahead and change this timestamp and say, take me to a 1 minute chart, then over here, for example, you'll see in 1 minute, this will go ahead and close out, and then a new bar will open, and so on and so on. So that's pretty much just kind of some high level stuff there to not get too much in the weeds when it comes to this, but more to follow here, again, over at smarttrading.vet, or if you go to veteransnetwork.club and our services, you'll see that there when you come down to our page. Services, come down over here to Smart Trading. You'll be able to kind of see what we have, and that'll take you over to that page. Here you'll be able to find some information and some additional things, questions, how to buy and subscribe, meet the team, contact us, some breakdown with some numbers statistically if you were to stay in it. So most of the questions that may be asked, you'll see them here. Is it easy? How does that work? So we give you answers and information, and then you have the ability to look at some of the how-to videos that we're updating. So how to do this and so forth, how to set up your account, all that information here you will see as well. And if you want to go ahead and subscribe and purchase, you'll see the packages that we have, again, available. So you can do a test drive and see if that works for you. If you're able to obviously make more than you're paying for a membership, then you're in a good place, right? And obviously, you'll see there the different perks if you choose to buy the different packages. So the 1 year and the lifetime access has a few extra perks because of the fact that they're pretty much getting access to what apparently the team has dubbed our inner circle, or DP's inner circle. So you get to trade with us, hang out with us, jump on Zoom, and see us do what we do. So cool things there. Alrighty, let's pull up a few points. I'll leave this here for those that are looking because the question is always, hey, what does it cost? Well, there you go. Again, it's a service. If you choose to trial it, great. If not, that's fine as well. Again, just providing services for folks. Brian's using it, I'm using it, and we do these things. So
Yep.
that's that. Quick shout out, though, to our brother who is in the house. Jerry is here. Navy
All right, Jerry.
Vietnam veteran, 66 to 79, Vietnam. His D214 is verified because I did not believe that he served from 66 to 79. I believe he had it wrong. He was probably thinking 1996 forward, but apparently I was wrong. He was correct. Getting over pneumonia. Glad you're feeling better. I remember you were not feeling well
Yes.
last time.
Yep.
Fell asleep at the
Hi,
opening. Thanks for being
Jerry.
here. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, Jerry. Um, let's see. Do. Nope. Packages are straight as is. So all is factored in there as well. To your question. Oh my God, we got Malcolm in the house. What percentage of trades are winners using trade system? So we're looking at about an 85% rate at this point that we're looking win wise. Obviously, there's some particulars that go in there. So out of 10 trades, you're looking at 8 positive ones and 2 statistically that may kind of go. So the algorithm keeps getting tweaked. When we go to the automatic trading signals, that has about an 85 to 90% rate because that one's actually moving more quicker. So the factor here to the time is also me again, right? The signal saying, "Hey, do a thing." So part of also what affects the accuracy is when you start looking at, okay, what does this look like when it comes to a buy and sell signal depending
Mhm.
on when you execute it. So if you don't necessarily go and push set execution of a thing, that may delay it. So the automatic ones tend to fire off as soon as it hits, whereas unless you're sitting there ready to execute, have the mobile app, so I can literally get the ping. I go to my Coinbase, I execute the strategy. So there's also a little bit of human
Well,
error that goes into
well,
it when you're actually executing a trade.
yeah, and I would add another factor that goes into the accuracy is looking at stocks that have good volatility. So volatility is your friend in this case. The more volatility, the better. Because as you know, if you see right there on this chart here, it looks like it's just almost a straight line. Well, clearly you're not going to. You're going to run into getting chopped up, as it's called. So you're making a lot of trades that really aren't going to move the needle. So the more volatility that you can find, the better. So it may not. It's a different strategy than some, when you're considering what's going in your 401k or mutual fund, right? Um, in this case, I want to find something that's going up and down, so that if it's a stock and it's going up and down, I can win on both movements. So whether it's going up or down, I can win. If it's a crypto, still I can make sure that I sell it at a higher point than buy in at a dip. And those signals are keeping me, safe more than 80% of the time. But again, obviously you're not using this on a stable coin in crypto. You're going to look for something else that's more volatile. But just something that you have to keep in mind when you're using these intelligent signals. They are intelligent. They work very well, and you can increase your success rate to over 90% if you keep some of those things in mind and maybe even look at different time windows. So there's some different strategies on how to factor these things in. We'll like DP said, we'll be making some other videos of lessons learned to help maximize it. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, Marlene made a comment. She's just learning. That's great, Marlene, because I am too. And that's the great thing about it is I just simply have been following the buy and sell prompts
For the record,
and
I
not
will
knowing
say
more than that.
Merlin has a, she's kind of a shark here.
Oh, is she?
So we have to put something out here. Merlin is she's like a pool shark almost. And I'm saying that for
Oh.
one reason and one reason only because she's my mother-in-law.
Aw.
So yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Aw.
So it's the funniest thing in my life that has happened recently to the birthday piece is my brother literally sends me a message and says, "Happy birthday, DP." And I'm like, "What in the flying hell?" And literally my mother-in-law here as well, as you see commenting, she's like, "Hey DP." I'm like, "Why is this happening?" Like DP is this persona that has come
What's wrong with
online
that?
because I was always just
DP.
David to my
Yeah.
mother-in-law and my
Oh,
wife. My name is David. DP is my full name, David Pineda. So, the whole story goes
gotcha.
that in the military they call you Pineda, in the civilian world they call you David. Well, my world, prizes of both. So it's like, hey P, hey D. And it's like, well, look, let's mix it all together, and DP kind of came to
Okay.
be. So, moral of the story, it's just funny to me to literally hear my brother and my mother-in-law and family like, hey DP, and I'm like, oh
That's
Lord.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's cool, but
Yeah,
it's just
so
it's yeah.
It'd be a little
Anthony
awkward.
calls you Anthony calls you P, right?
Correct, right, because I was Sergeant
And
P in
it
the
throws
service.
me when he calls you that because I'm like, P, what?
Hmm.
P? We've only known you as DP.
Right, exactly.
DP?
Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. So, but no, to that point, it doesn't matter. What your background is, what you know or not know. That's what these services are all made for. It's, hey, I understand technology. I'm doing these things. And to answer Joe's question here, as far as what's your goal, right? So one of the things I mentioned before is like, for example, I'm trading Litecoin. I have a percentage of that I'm trading. So we need to start looking at financial literacy, which means that if I have, let's say, $1,000 invested, and that's what I can afford to invest, and that's not money that I need to pay rent or bills. It's money I can invest after all things are said and done. Do not ever invest in anything more money that you are willing to lose, whether it's a stock market, crypto, forex. Be smart here, right? Let's not try to get rich overnight quick. That being said and done, if I have $1,000, I may have $500 in Litecoin that I'm saving forever, because I have receipts where I can show you where my portfolio in 2017 Litecoin was $80, and today's way more. So over time, things increase, as was Bitcoin and all these other things, Tesla, Amazon, all these stocks. When you zoom out over time, have been pretty much very, much on a linear upward path. So with that being said and done, obviously, if you're going to take some trades like this, I would then take 500, hold in Litecoin, and then take the other five to trade. And my perspective, my goal might not be just to trade and make money. It might be just to increase my position in Litecoin. So let's say I'm only able to afford 5 Litecoins. So I'm using half of that to basically be able to get more Litecoin. So as I'm buying and selling, what I'm doing is increasing my buying power so that by the end of the day, thank you, I'm able to actually have more, right? So successfully for me, maybe a goal is to go from 5 Litecoins to 10 Litecoins. Maybe I want to be able to get to a full Bitcoin one day. Well, how do you do that? Well, if I'm actually going and doing this buying signal over and over, guess what? Over time, that gives me the ability to keep increasing my position. So it really depends on the person's goal and what they want to do. And these are some of the conversations that we'll start having to the effect of that. So don't want to
So
belabor
can I
this
ask
too
a
much.
question?
Sure, but we have to press here shortly too, because we still have to talk about the main things, and I don't want to get too far in the weeds. But we're asking questions, so it's cool. Question you had, yes.
So for those that this is just totally over our heads. What is the option for somebody that wants you guys to play with our money for us?
So
So we don't.
that's well, that's a whole nother service in and of itself. So one, don't give me your shekels, because we're not financial advisors. So that's the one thing there, and we don't have anybody on staff to provide that service yet. But that may be an offering down the road. We may actually have a financial planner advisor on staff that may actually provide that service. So there's a lot of things that are coming. Of course, here comes Legend with his squeaky toy after he's done his night thing. Um, so what I would say is this is done by you. You are taking ownership of this. I would encourage folks to test this out, play with this, to get involved and understand what's happening, right? Because ultimately, hey, it's great to order out, but eventually get in the kitchen, learn how things are done. Tomorrow, if we have the ability to provide a automated service where the system is doing this for you, we've tested that. We are testing some systems. Then yes, you have the ability to have the system go ahead and do that. So that's automatically trading for you and executing these different things. So that's one of the points that I will say there. Malcolm, to your point, yeah, Elon makes a tweet, but it bounces back. Like I said, it was when I first started getting into Bitcoin, it was in the sub $10,000 range. We're way past that. So this stuff happens. Trust me, it's yeah. I mean, it's if you're long term, right? So for me, I'm like, let's talk 2025. Elon Musk means nothing. I could tell you about all the main crazy folks back in 2017, 2018. It was John McAfee who would do a tweet and move the market. Well, obviously, RIP to him now, but people like this come and go, but not, a big thing if you're long picture and long game. My mother-in-law says, yes, I love you, DP. There it is. So
Aww.
let's see. Let's see. Smartest move a vet can make with back pay is for McClaim, which is, ironically enough, literally the reason why we have this. So before we
Good call,
press
man.
to the NFT side of the house, this is what I will say is the reason why we have these services. So let me pull up here our service page. We're actually building out the resource tab. People will be reaching out with resume building, medical stuff, all kinds of things. So there's a lot of changes coming to the page. But what I'll say here is, this is what it's about, right? So literally, Shout out to you, Lisa. Literally right on time to be able to have this conversation.
Mhm.
To Malcolm's point, which again, I'll bring it up here. The smartest move a veteran can make with back pay from a claim. So this is really, whether it's back pay from a claim, whether whatever your situation may be, but after you're done with service, for many veterans, we go from a place of being forward thinking, always forward operating, always ready to deploy, always ready to go, ready to do everything. And then service is gone. And it becomes our best days are behind us. It becomes we used to plan. We used to have op orders, warn orders, and all these fragos. All that's gone. There's no more orders to do anything. The mission has stopped. And a lot of organizations go into the next mission and what we do now. So part of what we're looking at here for these services is just that, right? So veterans benefit support looks at just that, right? Let's talk about your benefits. Do you have all the things required of you, whether it's student loan repayment, whether it's because think about it, if you owe so much student loan, having that forgiven frees up money to do something. If you are underrated and you have the ability to go ahead and put in for a claim, you have the ability to get more money there potentially to do something. So whatever your situation is when it comes to your benefits, let's make sure you're good to go there. But it doesn't stop there. What do you do after? So look, this will change the software as a service, but really it's about now what can we use to leverage technology. I've been in crypto since 2017. I got an email today from a settlement that came from 2018. So I can talk about NFTs and I can do a lot of things. And it's great that DP does all this stuff, but DP is not the only one who can do this. I don't care what your age is. I don't care what your background is. It's literacy. And if you say, I don't know how to do these things, I would offer to you that you didn't know how to drive, but you were taught. You didn't know how to use an iPhone or Android, and you were taught. Everything you were taught. You were taught how to use a rifle. You were taught how to do military things. You were taught a job. When it comes to finances, let's be realistic, right? What do you do? What do you not do in public or in gatherings? You don't talk politics and religion and finances. And that's a problem because we're not financially literate. We don't talk about investments. We don't talk about these things. Do you have assets? Do you have investments? Or do you have debt? If all you have is just bills and debts and debts and debts and not one asset, we have got to have a conversation to put you in the right place. You filed a claim and you got to back pay for 10, 20, 30, 40, $100,000 and you have no idea what to do. You can easily turn an opportunity that could be life-changing to a wasted opportunity. And just because I understand technology means you can't benefit because you don't understand it, well, guess what? That's what this is about. Maybe you don't want to trade. You don't have to. But the fact of the matter is, if we don't create something for ourselves, who's going to? Who's going to have a conversation and share their story, right? I'll make mines and I'll never tell anybody. No, I will talk about it. I've been successful in trading both on the regular stock market, bonds, ETFs, and crypto and NFTs. I make no excuses for it. But now I want to be able to help other people do that. Am I the smartest person in the space? No. But I'm at least one of the few people that will talk to other veterans and share this because no one wants to do it. Right? I want to make mines and not tell the next person. Actually, it's better if Amy is successful, if Brian is successful, and everybody watching this on live or the replay is successful. And that's the reality. So, the richer get richer and the poor get poorer because of knowledge.
Yeah.
Because of knowledge. We had Damon here a few weeks ago on the last Friday Night Live, 2 Friday Night Lives ago. Check it out. I'm bringing on literally partners and people that I talk to in the real world that are doing this crap. Say it one more time for those that are out there. Here's a quick 101. Wag me. We are going to make
Wag
it.
me.
We're going to make it. And the only way that we are going to make it is if it's a we. Because I'm going to make it. But if I don't say anything, we all won't make it. So that's part of what Veteran Network is all about. It's about changing here the conversation, right? You hang out with a bunch of people who are broke, you're going to be broke. You hang out with me, guess what? You're going to have a business, one way or the other. Because that's all I talk about. I talk about money, business, and creating shit. And guess what? Amy has a business, Brian has a business. Brian's investing, Amy's investing. I don't care if you understand it or not. Either you're going to have to just get away from me, because if you want to go party and club, not going to do it. You want to go hang out late, not going to do it. You're going to go ahead and try to do something, not going to do it. I want to talk about getting in a better situation, not going back to where we came from. We left service. We did a lot of crap that people would not ever do. So we should have access to the things that we should have access to. And that includes this. So that's the biggest thing. Money, our relationship to finances has to be reset because it's a tool. And the tool of finances gives me the ability to create platforms like this to have this conversation. This is a free show. Every other Friday, we're here sharing, talking, providing. And the first project, the first service we're selling as a membership service is the trading service. I've been doing this for 3 years. For 3 years, Friday Night Lives in the closed groups and different places, we've been doing these things. We talk claims, we talk this. It's the totality of what the veteran needs. So to the point of our services here, once you have that, then maybe the conversation is, well, what is veteran business development? Exactly what it is. Maybe you have a skill that you want to explore and you want to create a business. Well, let's have a conversation because guess what? The fact of the matter is I've helped scale businesses and grow businesses, both others and mine. I have a company with a lot of folks and they have their businesses. I have 1099s. I have contractors. I've scaled businesses from 7 figures to 8 figures. The facts are there. Not the flex, it's just the truth. So if I've been successful and I've been able to help others be successful, now today Amy has a business and Brian has a business. And those businesses will grow and they will flourish. And we have the ability to do that. So if we have a recipe for success, which is called putting into work, putting away ego, and helping each other, then it's simply saying, hey, I think you could do this. And both Amy says, I don't know if I can. I don't give a shit if you think you can. Either you're going to do this or get out of here. Oh, you don't want to have a conversation with? Well, guess what? You're going to have a conversation with this accountant. Was that Brian? You guess what? You have an LLC now. Like we're not going to. I will peer pressure the fuck out of someone to be successful. Because guess what? In the bar, it was drink, party. No, how about, hey, invest. Create. Start that LLC. You have a skill set. You can do something, but I don't understand or know how to do, well, enter business development. We have an army of virtual assistants. We have an army of technology and systems, automations. My entire company is virtual. There's no brick and mortar. Before COVID, people were like, oh, telemedicine. I've been virtual since 17. You know what I'm saying? So the fact of the matter is we literally have the ability to scale these things and share with others. So we've been virtual. All my companies are virtual. Plural. My business streams are plural, right? So they're plural, more than one. So it's not just I lucked out in one thing. No. It's the fact that we have the ability to scale and show others how to do this. So maybe you want to sell something, create something, whatever it is, that's what a network does. A network, right, is supposed to help and get others forward to move. So that's why our resource tab on our website is starting to grow. That's why people are reaching out, and we're redoing this whole section because guess what? People want to reach out for resume building, vet gigs, asbestos, medical plans, and so forth, and a whole bunch of other things that are on the way right now. So these resources are going to be changed. When it comes to swag shop, guess what? What do you think? Who's making this stuff? I'm not the one creating this. That's FG Apparel, another minority veteran organization that's putting together our swag and supports this. So our business is about enabling and creating for others. So these are some of the things that we're doing. So we have the ability to create and do these things, right? And we're going to take it a step further. So for me, the way I see this is, hey, get your benefits, look at potentially investing or looking at some things, and then look at creating a business. Because then we can have conversations about tax write-offs and being able to get this, about being able to go ahead and get a vehicle and write it off because it's in your business's name, how to employ your children, how you can have someone that is in your family who all of a sudden is your kid now becomes one of your workers and you have them on paper and you can pay them, you can have a tax write-off. There's a lot of things. Come on now. Investment strategies. How do you do things? Taxes and so forth. So it's, again, if you're not in a position to know these conversations, please, you talk about, oh, you got a STEMI. That's cute. I got folks that I know who got a PPP loan for 20 grand, 25 grand, or loans from the government for 100 grand. And you're happy about $2,000 because of a STEMI? Like, stop. You know what I mean? I can work and do what I want when I want. And I'm not because I'm special, but because I chose to take down this road. But I was a government employee, never knew I could do this, but I had to take a chance on myself. And here we are. But I had no entrepreneur tendencies. I saw everything, every episode of Shark Tank and all the other speakers, Gary Vaynerchuck, for many years. You like that segue, see? It's coming. But, you know, when it comes to our ability to just take a chance on something, that's what this has been. It's been a journey of me doing something, creating something, helping others, and finally saying, hey, I'm going to give it a shot and do it myself. Because I will never be allowed to do anything by anyone. Period. I'm not dependent on someone. I don't ask anyone for time off. I can travel and I will come and go as I please. That's freedom. If I want to go on vacation tomorrow, I will do so. That's freedom. If I don't want to do crap on Monday, I will not do crap on Monday. That's freedom. I don't have alarm clock set. That's freedom, right? And I'm not perfect. I fuck up. I mess up. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not subject to having to be away or do things I don't want to do. I choose to be here Friday nights. We choose to share these things. So the fact of the matter is, this is not relegated just to me. Like I told you all every time, the secret to business, solve a problem. It's simple. Solve a problem. Solve a problem. And there's a problem happening right now within the artist space. Sweet segue.
Nice
When
segue.
we talked about NFTs, right? This is gang, gang, gang. I don't think I've bought a hoodie in the better part of almost 2 years now, literally. I got this nice little box in the mail. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that box.
That is
Come on now.
sharp.
And you might be saying, what is
Look at
gang,
that.
gang? We'll talk about it. And
That is nice.
in there was the sweater I am wearing. And on my hat, I teased out this little moral monkey, this NFT, this non-fungible token, this crazy talk. Well, there is a few things that I want to really just put out here when it comes to NFTs. And it's this. Joe's watching, Maria may be watching. You may be an artist, whether you watch this on live or replay. Let's take a note. This is at the 1 hour mark, so we can kind of splice this out later and do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to NFTs, when it comes to artists, right? I was in a high school where performing arts was a thing. I was part of a theater ensemble, so I have an art background, right? And a lot of my friends are artists. And I chose to go into other things, and art was not what I pursued, so dance, things like that, I didn't go down that route. But I was in, that space. So I have a lot of folks in the art that I understand, and I've been there. And the common denominator we all talk about is if you're an artist, you're a starving artist. Starving artist. Amy, what do you do? I'm an artist. That's nice. Great art. So, but what do you do for work? Think about that. Why
Right.
is it when it comes to art, the question is always, what do you do for work? Because when I say, hey, Amy, did you know that Brian is works at Wall Street? Immediately, he got money. Jim's a lawyer. Oh, he has money. So-and-so's a medical field. Oh, they make some money. So-and-so's a sculptor. She's broke. So-and-so's an artist. Doesn't have a lot of money. Think about that for a second, right? That's the reality that we have in our society. That if you're into the arts, you tend to be pretty much a starving artist unless you ascend to a certain level where you can actually make a living. But for the most part, entry-level artists do not make it. That's the reality, right? So when it comes to NFTs, right, specifically, it's resetting that conversation. Artists are using their art to create NFTs. And these NFTs, these things that you see, are creating opportunities for artists to get paid for once. And if you think about it, if you bought a Monet or you bought one of these, high-priced art pieces, what would you do? You would literally pay top dollar for it. But you wouldn't pay Joe top dollar for his art or Maria top dollar for her art. So when you look at that, that's one of the things that now NFTs are changing. Where if you're an artist, you have the ability to change your life with your art. That moral monkey on my hat did not cost $100 to buy that NFT. It didn't cost $1,000 to buy that NFT. This gutter gang cat right here, I'll tell you right now, I was on Facebook and now I moved here. Hey, we got Maria in the house from Claymore Vets, which you
Nice.
may have seen here before. Another
Hi,
artist.
Maria.
So
What's up, Maria?
I want to show something because we have to reset the conversation. You may not understand the NFT space. We can get into all those things when the time comes. But I really want to impress upon you a few things. This is a project that I'm a part of. And let's just do some simple math, right? This project sold out. And when you look at this, let's break it down into layman terms, right? Because we have to go ahead and put things in perspective. Because that's how we do stuff here, right? We're not just going to talk and not have context. So NFTs tend to operate on the Ethereum network. We'll talk about crypto and all that stuff here in a moment. But let's go ahead and move this over here. And let's say this project, the floor, which is the lowest item that you can buy, is 0.0089. All right. So 0.089. Right. So that puts you roughly at $369. So if I were to click on buy and look at one of the floor price models and click into it, you'll see the same price there, right? 370.95 fluctuations. So let's do some simple math. This is a artistic piece put together by Sarah Bauman, who does amazing work. Shout out to her. One of the first in supporting we have there. The story, what she's doing in the women's space for art is amazing. Literally, women and weapons. It's like, wait a second, women and weapons? Like, yes, women can use a variety of weapons to do a variety of things. And sometimes it's their tenacity, sometimes, as you can see, it's a fist, sometimes it's a club, sometimes it's Wolverine claws. I don't matter what it is. But this is her art. And they have a variety of different attributes, and another conversation for another day is the breakdown. But I want to break down something here just for numbers' sake. You have literally 10,000 units that sold, right? So she sold out her collection. And let's just say that 10,000 times 200 puts you right at $2 million. Just top level. We're not talking fees. We're not talking, developers. We're not talking these things. We're talking about money that's moving. And when this artist made a point to step out, look at her roadmap, right? Her roadmap here was at the 10% range. Sarah, our artist, our boss girl, our founder, will resign from her job as an occupational therapist and realize her dream of being a full-time artist when 10% of her collection sells. Her collection sold out in 4 hours. So guess what that meant? She had to go ahead and do number 25% and 50% and 75% and go ahead and do 100%. So needless to say, the overwhelming support that came from the community was insane. So this is one example. And again, this is a feasible entry point NFT that you can get into. You want to talk about some big boy stuff? Let's go over to the apes. If you want to buy an ape, its floor price is $51.98. $51.98 is $215,000. Again, hit the buy, jump down here, and let's take a look at what this looks like if you wanted to literally buy this one right here. $260,000. $216,000. Like it or hate it, that's the reality. That's the value put behind these things. That's what someone has paid for a membership to this exclusive club. That's what it is. At the end of the day, right? Like, why would you pay so much money to be part of this country club? It's your prerogative. People can choose and buy what they want. All these artists, yep. Adidas, all these people that are high net worth individuals want to get into the space, and that's the kind of money they're playing with. And if you happen to be someone who bought this when it was only $100, well, guess what? $200? Well, guess what? I think you had a good situation here for yourself, right? So these projects, again, this is one extreme to the next. There's a variety of different things, but one of the different projects that is on my hat, which is the segue into all this, is VeeFriends, right? The one project that got away from me. I'll just put that out right now. And because I'm wearing it, got to give a shout out to the Gutter Gang. So here are our gutter dogs, right? And we literally have the ability to see the different types that are there. We have a gallery that we're going to put out here shortly. So we'll show that to you at another time. But these are just some different ones that we have that are out there. So this is another project. I like the different ones that are there. 12 books is all it took. Hey, that's it. But what is interesting to me is Rachel's in the house. What's interesting to me about this, Big Mo, that's Gino. So we got Gino in the house, everybody. Shout out to Gino, my brother in NFT.
Gino.
In the trenches.
Rachel.
So I will tell you that when it comes to this space, one of the projects that I am very, very bullish on was VeeFriends, but I didn't get into it. So this brings us to Gary Vaynerchuck and the story of this monkey. So I have been a government employee for a long time. I was military, went into government, did all that stuff. And what happened was I've seen every episode of Shark Tank, and I've literally, D. Wade said she needs to learn how to draw. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear people saying, I need to become an artist. Now, yes, let's go ahead and get into it.
D Wade, D Wade, do you really need to learn how to draw? Look at his hands. Do a close up on your hands.
You leave my hat
It just
alone.
has
I'm
to
leave my hat
mean
alone.
something. It just has to mean something, right?
It
It's
it, it, it
subjective.
varies. So and we'll talk about that in a
You
minute.
can
Actually,
you can draw a monkey, D Wade. You can draw a monkey.
here you go. Here are your more monkeys. Here are here they are. Yeah. So there's only 40 of these, so these are limited to a degree. But I'll explain because Gary Vee's done a unique thing. Um, Something that's a little bit more harder to draw, which I do have as well, is a mecha. Like this obviously requires a whole different level of stuff. So, um, yeah.
Is that digital art or did somebody actually draw that?
No, this is digital. Like some of these things
Okay.
are just completely, on a whole nother
Yeah.
level.
That confuses me. Like what's digital, what's not digital?
We'll get into that a whole nother day. We can't derail too much here. We got a limited time, and people's attention is spanned. So, more of the story, as Amy keeps laughing at my monkey. What I will say is, government employee, saw Shark Tank, and I followed Gary Vaynerchuck for a long, long time. If you don't know who Gary Vaynerchuck is, he is a prolific speaker, motivational. He runs businesses. He was one of the first people actually to go onto YouTube from print ad. So he took Wine Library to YouTube. That's how far back this goes. So I go back to Library days, which is early 2000s. You know what I mean? When YouTube first kind of came out. So he was one of the first ones there. Gary Vaynerchuk's gift is he is very keen on changes as they happen. So he was one of the first movers into YouTube, one of the first movers to digital, one of the first movers now into NFTs as well. And when he came into this project, I bought his books, I followed him. But for me, it was always like, man, he talks about great entrepreneurial things, but I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not selling shit. I'm a government employee, and that's all she wrote. Fast forward, now a lot of that stuff comes into play. The irony is, Gary Vee earlier this year decides to release V Friends, and literally he doodled all these things by hand, even this little crazy monkey, right? By hand, he just did it himself. But what he's done is he's created utility. So he has the ability to. He created a project among around himself that pretty much works for him. So when you look at, for example, his collection, they vary on access, and what that means is there are now projects in the NFT space that are not only looking at creating an NFT, but it becomes now the new way things are done. And again, we're not going to get into all the details of NFT today, but I'll tell you this: there is not one industry that is not affected by the internet. Everything is the internet. We're talking right now because of the internet. But there was a time when it was only select few people who had a computer, and you had America Online and dial-up. Then iPhones came, and so on, so on, so on, so on. So when you look at the metaverse and what's happening in the future, I promise you, everything will change. So, for example, Gary Vaynerchuk, if you know who he is, he when he speaks and he does these things, those conferences are very hard to get into. And what he's done is create utility. So for the next 3 years, he will do a conference called VCon. And the only way to get into that conference is if you own one of his NFTs. So what NFTs are doing is creating a tribe. It's tribal access. If you have a certain NFT, it gives you access to get from him certain things. Some of them, for example, gives you access to FaceTime him. Some of them give you access for breakfast with him. Some of them give you access to play basketball with him. Some of them give you access to have a business conversation with him. Some of them give you access to a variety of things. But he modeled his NFT around his life. He plays basketball, he travels, he speaks, he FaceTime, he Zooms, he does things, right? So all the things he does, he's used that as a utility. And you start seeing now a whole bunch of artists coming into the space. One of the my favorite projects also is Boonji, which when it comes to art, Boonji probably Gino, where you at? Me and Gino are big on the Boonji project. This is Brendan Murphy, who has a real life actual collection of things that he does. Amazing, amazing work. I actually have some of his art, and I have some physical one for Time Moves Fast. So his Time Moves Fast piece is one of the pieces that I own as well. Where is it? Redemption, physical art. I'm pretty sure I'm the wrong one there. But this is like, for example, one of his physical arts. So he used a special token specifically for this uh, figurine, which is an actual statue from some of his collections. And this, for example, was one of the actual physical collections. So the only way to get this physical painting is, through his art, and his art goes for way more than what you see here on the screen. So, moral story, a lot of stuff happening there. So, all that to say that been a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuck. I have friends who've tried to get me to either meet him or have a meeting or get to some place to talk to Gary Vaynerchuck. When he rolled out his project, I missed the mark, and I was like, "Crap! I just completely missed the mark." And went to New York, and long story short, I got a chance to finally come around, and I saw a tweet of saying, "Hey, if you're interested in getting into VFriends before they move it into VFriends version 2, you can go ahead and reach out." So I reached out, and me being incessant, I was like, I'll find a way to get into this conversation. And the pitch was simple. Hey, if you want to buy a befriend, you have the ability to get on this list, and basically you and Gary Vee will be able to have a meeting and pick a VFriend. So literally, he picked the monkey. I was looking at it, but it was like we jumped on a call, right? So I put in for this thing, and I was just like, of course I'd love to do that. Like, I fucking watched this guy for like forever. So sure as shit, I'm thinking, I'm having a conversation with his assistant who's running this piece, and he's like, hey, do you need any help? Because they want to do like a white glove service, basically, right? So let's say, Amy, if you wanted to buy something, they would walk you through funding an account and how to do everything. So the guy Adam, the POC there, reaches out to me and says, "Hey, do you need help? We can walk you through all these things." I'm like, "I need nothing but a date to see Gary. I'm ready to go. I don't need any help. Moving money, buying things. I understand how to do this stuff. I'm here for the white glove service. I'm here for the meeting, right?" So of course that kind of created a quick conversation because we went back and forth, and my Twitter handle is Veteran DP, so he saw our website and what we've done, and we set up a call. So Sunday night, he goes, "Hey, are you good tomorrow?" So Monday comes, and it's like, "Hey, are you good to meet with Gary at 4, 4:30, 4:10, 4:20, 4:30, like 10 minutes, right?" So I'm like, I'm available whenever the hell he wants to talk. Like, I'm the one interested and have seen this guy for over 10 years, you know what I'm saying? And read his books and all that crap. And freaking punched myself in the face for not buying, VFriends when they first came out. So long story short, we pick a time, and I'm back in my mind, I'm thinking there may be a possibility that he's not able to make it. So either way, I know I was going to buy into the project anyway, so that was kind of like my own present to myself. So hey, it's my birthday week, so I'm going to treat myself and get something. That was pretty much what it was. I literally am talking to Adam, we're doing a little pleasantries, and Gary pops up, right? So for those that know me, I don't, I was an air marshal. I traveled. I sat next to celebrities, so I don't fanboy over stuff. I don't get like, oh my god, like I've sat next to like, Kim Kardashian and stuff like that, and it's just like I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm used to seeing people, so it doesn't bother me, right? So Gary pops up, and I'm kind of like, hey, what's up, Gary? You know what I mean? Like, it was weird because it was kind of like, I'm excited to see it, but I'm like, oh shit's happening, right? But it was more the shock that he actually popped up, because in my mind I'm thinking like something will pop up. He's busy. He may not make it. So he pops up and he's like, hey Dave, what's going on? First thing out his fucking mouth, I love what you're doing with the veterans. I think I'd like to talk to you about that. I go, who are you talking to? Is there another fucking Dave in the room? Because it sure as shit ain't me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is one of those things where if you were to think about something, right? Like, man, imagine if I got a chance to talk to Gary Vee, and I'm like, Veterans Network, and blah, 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 blah. And he goes, I like veterans too, and we'll do a thing, and blah. In reality, he said, hey, guy, and he walked away. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how this stuff goes. So literally, he goes, hey, I love what you're doing with the veterans. I want to talk about that. I'm like, my name is Jeff. Hello. You know what I'm saying? Like, hi, how are you? He's like, well, let's talk about VFriends. So I tell him, hey, look, I literally have followed you for a while, so big fan, appreciate your time. You know what I mean? The most I was going to say was, hey, I'm a veteran, Veterans Network background. We're here to support, and we're, trying to spread the word. That was kind of going to be my 5-second speech to be, cognizant that I only had 10 minutes to talk to the guy. And he goes, yeah, we'll talk. I want to talk about that, but let's talk about VFriends. And I said, hey, I'm a big fan. Fun fact about Gary Vee, he is best friends with the founder of Uber. And he passed on Uber round 1 and 2. So a few times he was told to jump into Uber, he didn't jump into Uber. So of course, because I followed him for such a long time, the first thing I say is, Gary, I'm going to say right now, you had an Uber moment, I had a VFriend moment. I've been following for 10 years. I would be the first person to tell you that if Gary's selling water in the ocean, he'll find a way to sell it. And guess what? I just didn't get the project. I didn't understand how the fuck a monkey was going to do something. Like it just didn't make sense to me. And he laughs because he goes, "Yeah, I felt that." I'm like, "Yeah, I felt like this," right? So he has a laugh. I have a laugh. Obviously, I know his background because if I know the Uber story, it means I've followed the guy for a while, right? And he goes, "Well, look, I think this is a good. I'm looking at what's available." I'm like, "Hey, I saw this one." So we both had the same one up. This one wasn't available to like 10 minutes before I actually got it. And fun fact, someone actually bought it for like $15,000 more than I bought it afterwards. So there's only 40 of them. So put that in perspective. So I have we picked the stuff, and he goes, "I don't think there's something to talk about. I think that's the one you probably get, right? Because it's called More Monkey and blah blah blah." So literally, once we identify it, I already purchased it literally as he's talking. So I literally do a screen share. I'm like, oh, I already got it. Because he was like, I think that's the one. I don't think it's something to talk about. I'm like, say less. It's already mine. He goes, what? I share my screen. I said, like, I'm not fucking around. I got 10 minutes, baby. We got to make this count. So got it. Go in. Next. And he goes, let's talk about veterans. I said, let's do that thing. Yes. And Adam is in there with us, and he's like, what is happening? And quite frankly, he goes, "Hey, I'm thinking I want to do something with artists." That's why I kind of went into the whole thing about starving artists, etc. And he goes, "I think in the veteran community, there's a lot of artists who are underrepresented and don't have the access to be able to come into the space because they don't understand NFTs and all this stuff." Obviously, full disclaimer: if I'm buying a Bree Friends, it's not a cheap project. Look it up, right? So the point at hand is, if we're having this conversation, he already knows kind of where I'm at, and I mean, we've established that I'm not a neophyte when it comes to the space, right? So that's established. So I go, yeah, totally. But the problem with veterans is, guess what? You don't trust people. You know what I mean? Like, what are you trying to sell me? Snake oil? Like, DP owns this shit. I own this. I own this. What I wear, I own. You can check on the blockchain. I've spent money, my money. I've done this, right? So he's like, that's what it is, right? It has to be a trust thing. So he goes, I want to round up some veterans who are artists and basically look at putting together some NFT projects to start broadcasting, some of our finest who serve, who are veterans, who have artistic tendencies, but don't have the resources or the know-how, but we can provide that, right? And I think that, I'd like you to help me, what I'm saying, comb through this and potentially look into this thing. Of course, at that point, I'm sitting there going, you need you need me for, what? I'm sorry, like what is happening? What I mean? This dude's worth like 150 million, has 600 employees. Like you have all the resources in the world. I'm sure somebody's a veteran in there, right? And here we're talking. He's just like, I like your vibe. I'd like to work with you. I'd like to get to know you. I'm like, me, right? So literally, he's the one leading this thing. Not once do I say Veterans Network, etc. So once he's telling what he's thinking, which is essentially getting and identifying about 8 to 10 artist veterans and being able to help them put this project together. I go, that's exactly what I've been trying to fucking do. Like in our side, like I'm buying stuff and selling people, and we're talking about it. Nobody pays attention to fucking DP. Oh, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And he's just like, yeah, I like to do that. So then he goes, you know what? Put a tweet together and just say, hey, I'm working on something. At me, I'll retweet it, and that'll be the start. So people who saw the tweet think like, oh, that's cool. He retweeted you. It's not a retweet, right? It's the beginning of a process. So the extension of the offer, which was way more than I expected to walk out of there, was, to set up a series of conversations with him. He wants me to go down sometime in February to meet with him in person, and that I'm sure will probably lead to a videotaping. So if you look at GaryVee, Gary VEE, on YouTube, he has a few million followers, so he records everything. It's all out there. So, DP, a veteran on the GaryVee show, that's, first of all, like, what is life right now?
Boom.
But that's something that we're working towards. In the middle of all that, then it's like, hey, can you put the call out there? I'll support it. We'll retweet and we'll do stuff. So the first wave was a quick retweet. Because if Gary turns around and says, hey, I'm working with DP, blah, 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 the flow of people would be just insane. I mean, this guy has millions of followers, and the amount of people that just showed up and retweeted and commented, my phone hasn't stopped since Monday when I tweeted and he retweeted and stuff. And we have so many veterans. I'm talking about the messages. So I called my team immediately after, and I'm like, hey, you guys won't believe this stuff. Because they're like, hey, good luck. Hopefully make a good impression. I'm like, I'll try to say Veteran Network one time. And Amy's like, try to get a screenshot of you guys talking to each other. I'm like, I'll try. Afterward, I'm like, you guys won't believe this shit. So that's the gist of the meeting without having to belabor it too much. But as someone who's been a fan for a long time of what he's doing, to have now this opportunity to serve and have a partnership and help enable others it's in line with what we're doing, right? So it's one of those things where opportunity and preparation meet at the same time. If we were not doing and we have not been doing and we don't do what we do, we wouldn't be in a place to be able to support that. So my personal, path of my personal investments and what I do literally wrapped into this create an opportunity that now extends to somebody else, right? Because I'm big on empathy and compassion. I'm big on trying to serve and create platforms for others. And really what I've noticed is that that's what kind of he picked up on, right? Which is like, hey, I'm not here pitching myself. I'm like, no, there's veterans out there who just need a shot. There's people out there, like Maria, like Joe, who are starving artists, who are literally starving in the sense like they're hungry for, being able to tell a story from a real genuine place that a lot of NFTs are not doing. Right, like this is Moral Monkey, this is a Gutter Gang Cat Dog. There's a lot of great projects, but who's really telling a story of the journey of mental health, the journey of what saves someone's life, what this means when Joe puts together some of his art, when Maria sculpts and does certain things. That's what we literally have the ability to do. Literally, Joe says I literally ate ramen for dinner, so starving to be a plug.
Love it.
Again, if you guys haven't checked them out, they're doing some amazing things on their side. Claymore Vets, again, resetting the conversation of claymores and actually using clay more for vets. So, fun fact there. It's funny because I did see that ramen noodle thing that actually was going on today. But that's really what it comes down to, right? If I were to go in there trying to push myself, big up myself, make a point to try to pitch myself, I mean, it's like that's just not what we do. That's not what we do here. So, we always do these things and no one really kind of pays attention because, hey, we could market better, we could do this. But, those that come will come, right? Like if you build it, they'll come. And for someone like GaryVee to literally say, hey, I like what you're doing. I got the read down on what your organization is doing, and I'd like to be able to support. I think, we could be able to kind of get to know each other and work on this to serve others. It's almost like, dude, I'm ready. Like, because he's like, can you come down to New York? I said, well, do you want me there in 3.5 hours or 4 hours? Because traffic, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, no. We're in February. I was like, all right to say, because I got the car and auto start ready to go. You know what I mean? But, to have an opportunity like that, I think it just speaks to the bigger picture of serving, creating, and being able to use our platform to do something. And, this is one of those things that I think was just good to share like this. Right? Literally, I've been sitting on this since Monday, and it's one of those things where, yeah, could I post something? Could I say something? But, we come on these lives and we talk about this stuff, and you all that are watching this right now are the ones that, we do this for. So you'll be the first to hear this, right? From here forward, then there'll be more details and more stuff on social media, but I kept it very vague for a reason to kind of save it for this conversation here. But moral of the story, the opportunity to be able to create something that puts our, veterans in a place to succeed, to put I like that. That's a whole different project too. And yes, Dream Jock, we do have a Discord actually. We just haven't shared the link yet, so we'll update that wherever you're watching this too, and start the process of building up the Discord as well. But literally, this gives us the opportunity to do something amazing. And I'll tell you that what I told my team on Monday, right after the meeting, after talking to, the boss in the house here, my missus, talked to my team, and everybody's ecstatic. And my whole thing was like, let's just enjoy the moment and just share this because it's amazing, right? It's something that I just would never have expected. And if we're just not in the right place to be able to do that thing, I guess it just wouldn't happen, right? So my journey down crypto and NFTs got me to a place where that opportunity, that meeting happened the way it happened. Because of that, now we have the ability to change people's lives. I showed you Women and Weapons. That's a project that is sold out because of Gary Vaynerchuck. There was 10,000 pieces. I was one of the first investors in there because I saw what Gary did, which was Sarah Bauman, created about 30 or so NFTs. Gary Vaynerchuck saw it. He liked it. He tweeted to his millions of followers and pretty much said, hey, Sarah, I bought your collection. I love it. Create more now. And 30 days later, Women and Weapons. And you saw her first little bullet point, which was quit my job and be a full-time artist like I've always dreamed. And it was a Saturday morning, whatever it was. I remember I had bought the first few NFTs. Brian, you jumped in there about the 3,000 mark. And I literally said it. I was telling Joe. And I told, Gino and the crew, I said, watch, Gary's going to wait and he's going to tweet. But he won't tweet now because what happens when he tweets is it's going to be a floodgate. Sure as shit, about a good hour and change. Here comes now Gary and says, "Well, I waited a little time, but here's a good project that I like, and I like what they're doing." And he tweeted about her project, and literally in about 2 minutes, 7,000 items were gone, sold out, completely sold out. Changed that woman's life. Literally, her and her husband just with a dream and an aspiration to do something, and her entire life was changed. And she in turn now took proceeds and donated to the Malala Foundation. She's helping other artists who are women in this space to give them a platform and do things, and he's real big on that. And the veteran space is one space that he's passionate about. And for him to look at me and saying, "Hey, would you like to partner up and help do something like this?" I'm like, well, first of all, right, in my head, I'm like, who the hell am I to do this shit? There's a whole bunch of more qualified veterans out there with bigger followings. But that's what the universe put in play. And I have to accept that. But I will say, like I told my team, past the, appreciating the moment, I don't feel in this regard imposter syndrome or the someone better should do this. And the reason why that's not happening is because it's not about me, right? So for me, what really I see this is I feel almost like a anger inside of me because artists should not starve, right? Your craft is your craft. If you know how to code a computer just because you know how to put ones and zeros to do a program, why the shit should you live a better lifestyle than someone that creates with their hands? Our society values technology, medical, legal, and all that, but arts all of a sudden becomes kind of like a eh. So NFTs changes the conversation, and it empowers people to do what they want to do and not what they have to do, right? And the fact that we have veterans who have these skills, who are as good or better than people out there getting chances, then we need to fight for that. And the way I look at it is pretty much simple. I'm not an artist, but what I am good at is kicking fucking doors open. That's it. And if I have the ability to kick a door open and have a conversation with someone like Gary Vee and he says, "Hey, do you want to help?" Fuck yes, I want to help. And get as many veterans as we can through the door to be able to do this because the fact of the matter is, it's not about me. It's not about, oh, why Well, fuck DP. It's not about him. It's about us. It's about the fact that we have veterans that have and need the ability to showcase things. There's a lot of people who are trying to tell the story of the veteran community. But we have people in the community who can tell the story, but nobody sees it. Nobody knows. And if you have someone with a clout and someone who has the ability to bring attention to the space, then we owe it to ourselves to tell that story. Which is why Joe, who I talked to, does what he does. His art speaks for those that are not here anymore. That's what it comes down to. Why does he do what he? Why does he does what he does? Because he can do something that those that didn't come back can't do. Those that did come back but didn't come back and became statistics can't do. Like I'm good, but I know people who are better. But sadly, they succumb to their wounds. They did not make it. Joe's good, but there are artists that are better. But they committed suicide or didn't come back from Iraq or Afghanistan. Maria's good, but there was someone who was better, and they didn't come back. And we all run with that of, hey, it's not for me, it's for the person's story I'm telling. So if we have an opportunity to tell the story of being able to capitalize on this opportunity that NFTs brought us to do, then we can do that thing. And I think that's what's powerful about this opportunity because it is not only a life-changing thing for one person, but it's something that truly can begin to tell the story and bring attention to our space. So this is just the beginning. If the veterans that move forward, and are able to launch something, fast forward a few months from now, um, that then creates an avalanche of information and attention and things that we're not even expecting or ready for. But it doesn't matter because it's not about us. And I think if we kind of hold to that, it's like we have an obligation to put forward that foot. I could easily say, Gary, look, man, I can't do that, man. You freaking have millions of followers, and I'm being bombarded and stuff, and my business is small. Nah, negative. We rise to the occasion. Because in the military, when the order was just simple of, hey, secure that perimeter or take that hill, you didn't say, hey, I don't know if we could do it. We're outnumbered. We can do it. People who did not come back, people that, again, we recognize as our heroes, people who legends named after, those people who did not make it, those people who fought, who shed their blood, those people didn't say, I can't do this thing. They literally held the line so that someone else could live. They pushed in the face of adversity to make something happen. They were able to do things that we classify as heroic, but we know what happened. It's that when nothing else is around, you do it for the person to your left and to your right, and I'll be damned if one of us doesn't get out of here alive. And that's why this person jumped on a grenade, or this person did this thing, or this person held off that fucking advance. So when it comes to this, I don't give two fucks how many millions comes. I don't give two fucks about what veteran out there think they should be the one that should be doing this. Fuck you. I'm the one doing this, and we're gonna fucking hold the line so that people like Joe and Maria and others can get the fuck out there and tell the fucking story that nobody's listening to. That's what it's about. And when you take that mindset, I'm sharing this because if you're an artist, that's the mindset you need. Not, oh, I don't know, the scrutiny, or people may look, fuck that. You have an opportunity to step up and do something, and if we come together and do it right, whose lives can be changed, whose lives can be saved, and whose stories that can't be told but by you do we not tell now? That's what this is about. So it's not about DP, it's not about you as an artist, it's about the stories we're telling. Everybody has a part to do in this. And to make it very military, if my job is to breach, then I breach the fuck out the door. And then guess what? You move the fuck in after. That's how this works. In the military, Brian, you're behind me, I'm breaching. Once it breaches, Brian, you go left, Amy, you go right, and in the back, you hold the 6. So I will fucking breach, and Maria goes fucking left, and Joe goes fucking right, and you fucking breach and move and take over, and we hold, and we tell the story. And if nothing else, and we could do that once, we fucking did it. That's why there's that Iwo Jima flag. Because, hey, guess what? We were here, plant the fucking flag. And then we could plant the fucking flag with an NFT and do something for once, then that's what we're gonna fucking do. What may happen after, who knows? But if we have an opportunity, we owe it not only to ourselves, but those that can't, to try. And we can support each other. So that's what this is about. When we look at it from that perspective, it's more than NFT. You don't understand NFT, you don't understand IP, TCP protocols, or HTTPS. No one watching this but a few know how to code websites. You have no clue how this works. You can't change your oil on your car. You can't change the wheel on your car. But you want to understand all things NFT? It doesn't matter. We have people who do. What we need is you to do your art and you to do your thing so we can put the resources in place and push. You want to start a business? We have the resources. You want to trade? We have the resources. That's what this is about. Not about, oh, I don't know all the intricacies. It doesn't matter. Your job is not to run a tank. You're infantry, do your job. Call in cannons when you need them. Call the Air Force when you need them. I don't fly aircrafts. I don't need to, but I know who to call. In this space, that's what we're doing here. Networking. That's what this is about in Veterans Network. So I say all that to say that we have the ability to be able to come together and create something amazing, and the opportunity is way bigger than us. So that is where we're at. That's the story behind the monkey that obviously is inspiring to so many, especially Amy, because it's such artisticness. Again, take a look at that bad boy right there. Amy, Brian, let's bring up some comments.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Brian.
no, go. I'm saying over to you, Amy and Brian.
I like the story behind the monkey. And I think that I understand the purpose behind the exclusivity or whatever, the purpose behind it. Like, I get that. But if we're being honest, it's cool. It's just, like, so I'm trying to understand the NFT thing. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I get it, but I don't. And I always joke about, like, I could get that monkey and put it on my wall. Like, I could do that too, And so trying to understand it, I think it's an education piece, just like you were talking about the financial literacy. It's an education piece to really try to understand it. So, I personally enjoy the conversations and getting to, understand it a little bit more as we go. But I think it's cool. And when I hear your story, so I've told this story before with Maria, some of her art, like she has a specific piece that I really like and that I can relate to. And I was just telling her and DP this the other day, that when I think of the story with DP and the monkey, I think, when I saw Maria's and I started thinking about Maria creating this stuff into NFT, I thought, oh, you know what? I think, yes, yes, yes. Aw, love it. Um, and so there with this story, butterflies, if you guys have watched me or like talked, butterflies are kind of a trigger for me for reasons, and so I don't really like butterflies, but when I saw this and I listened to Maria's story, I saw it totally different, and it was just super meaningful to me. And so when we were talking about the NFTs, and then DP mentioned Maria and Joe and Carla, and I thought about her, that piece, and I was like, you know what? I I feel like I would buy that because it would mean something to me, but it would just be something for me. And so like when you talk about the NFTs like that, um I like it. I mean it's purposeful and it's meaningful. And like, like the one with you and the monkey, like that makes sense. I know how much you love Gary V. And I know how much that means to you and what doors this is going to open for you too. So I get it. Um, right? That's what it's like when you listen to him and he starts preaching, right? And so, yes, he's very passionate about all things. So it's awesome to listen to him. But, Maria. And so I like it. It's fun. I think I'm excited to see where this goes and to watch what this is going to do to so many people, like the Marias and like the Joes. And just listening to Joe even the other day and hearing his story too. Um, it's so touching. And I think when you understand somebody's why and you understand their story, it's a totally different purpose, I think. Like you just look at things so differently, and it's quite beautiful actually and amazing. And so I'm excited for all things, for all the artists that this is going to be able to change their lives. I know, right? I'm telling you. Right? Yeah, so it's a cool story. We were all just, I think we were as probably as shocked as DP to hear their story. And then if you know DP, you know how much he liked Gary V. So as much as we were excited for him, we were like, what, did this really happen? And I'm like texting people I know, like, DP talked to Gary V, and so pretty cool. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of this and be on the journey with you guys and watch this unfold.
Brian.
Well, I mean, the opportunity that one, with Gary, because Gary is an influencer, right? He's really big, and he's really promoted like the women and weapons, and there's probably been some other. Yeah, we already. There's no signing bonus. No, uh, but the with Gary's influence, his passion for the NFT space, and having seen not just Gary V, but NFT projects like with Sarah and others, man, I mean this stuff can be life changing. Just one release of a project out of multiple releases. I mean that's just her first release of of that project. She's going to have others coming up, and she'll have those sold as well. And so, yeah, when she was able to quit her job and go to work, be a full time artist, it wasn't just a lateral transition. I mean, I guarantee you, teachers don't get paid what she just got paid off of that project. She's just made a lifetime's worth of money in that one little project that sold out in 4 hours. And so that's what's exciting for the select few that are able to take advantage of Gary's support and hopefully the ways that we can support. I'm just really looking forward to the love and the excitement and the life changing experience that it's going to be for those artists and for others to come, because this is just obviously the first time that we're starting something. So yeah, it's going to be great. It's just incredible. I mean, that's about all I can say. Add on to whatever DP's already covered most every feeling that you have, right? But the excitement, yeah, absolutely, it's going to be life changing, and that to me is the coolest thing of all.
Yeah. So I think it's a great journey. To the question that came up, this is again, we'll take this in baby steps, but Discord, if you've never seen what these things are, think of social media on crack, but in one place. So you actually own it specifically. So pay attention to simple things. This is my Discord. So every channel you see here to the left is literally a different server. So I'm in a few projects, as you can see. So you know, and this is also with folders, which makes it even worse. So these are actually folders that expand into many other projects. So there's a few things I'm watching, a few things I'm holding, a few things I'm on the fence about. So all these folders have like different meanings. But anyway, this is our Discord that we're gonna, like I said, we'll put the link out. So we're gonna break it down by the different divisions and services that we have. So for those that are working with us in one specific area, we'll have chats that are live for them there. For those that are looking into some of the other businesses that we have, they'll be broken down there. So we have three divisions. We talk about benefits, we talk about trading, we talk about business development, and then general conversations. So this will be kind of where we have the ability. To create and do something like this. So we'll put the link to the Discord right where you're watching this. We'll update the description and you'll see it under as well. So people can start popping in. So we want to kind of set some things up. So this is kind of like beta one. So get the team spun up on how to use it. But my team will be in here, so there'll be talks of claims, there'll be talks of business, NFTs, all kind of things. We'll pop in live, so this will be something that's actually live 24/7. So we'll have different people available to kind of jump in and do things. So as this grows, it'll get pretty crazy. But just to kind of give you all an example, because I think to understand what this space is, a Discord channel is really something that you can have meetings here, live talks, chats, etc., meeting conversations, questions, people moderating. You can have badges and move up in tiers depending on kind of your involvement with that. So, for example, I talked about the dog that I hold. That's a gutter gang cat, dog, side of the house. So this is their server, right? V Friends, that's their server, right? The hat that I'm wearing, the Gary Vaynerchuck project. Um, so there's a lot of different projects that are out there that we're a part of. Mecca, for example, is one of them. But I really just want to point out one thing here, where these Discords, if you've never seen these things, there's 180,000 people who are members of this one specifically. And then they'll tell you who's online and things like that. But this thing is buzzing. Like, the community almost becomes its own thing. So it's not just a one-way street of me giving information, but this becomes something that you literally have the ability to have conversations. So there are channels here for people that are doing specific things. There are channels for people who are talking about other projects or are in certain locations. So we have, like, for example, people who are into sports. There's channels to people to talk about those things. So if you're into football, these folks are talking about those things. So there's just a variety of so many different things. But I really just want to highlight very quickly again, head on over to veteransnetwork.club. If you have questions, comments, concerns, there'll be a lot of changes coming to the website. So we're kind of revamping everything from logo to names and so forth. So we're shifting a lot of our things to include kind of who we are and how we're really positioning to do things. Lisa is also in the chat. So if you can type out our new mission statement / tagline, so I can go ahead and post it so people can actually see it. So that'll be updated as well. But you can subscribe here, give us your information. We'll keep you up to date on what we're doing. If you want to reach out to us, give us some information or send a message, you have the ability to contact us as well. All our social media channels are here on the page. So I always reference people to go to veteransnetwork.club because you'll see what we have there to be able to share. So Our services, again, you'll be able to see some of that information. You'll be able to read a little bit about us, kind of who we are, what we do in the background, our CMO, who are Chief Morale Officer, my service dog legend, along with the team and faces that you don't see every day who are behind the scenes and growing. So there's a lot of opportunities that these things potentially create for us. And of course, my favorite quote, which is, pretty much my lifetime thing here. But we have the ability to create opportunities for veterans, which in turn becomes internships potentially down the road, being able to create opportunities, work opportunities, and entrepreneurial pathways, work pathways. So really, as we grow, we want to go ahead and really serve and do some amazing things. So again, head on over there on our resource tab. We're updating that. People are reaching out to us almost weekly at this point, trying to share their resources for us to put it here. So this entire page will be revamped. And again, just being real, right? I don't mind saying, hey, look, this page is going to change. So they didn't like, oh, we can't show it because it's not finished yet. I don't care. We're going to change it. It's coming, right? You're literally watching this unfold in real time. So our services, again, you'll see kind of what we're doing here, what we're subscribing to do. So take some time to read through that as well when you head to the website. But as Veteran Network, it kind of really is absorbing the variety of different things that I've done in the veteran space. So we're kind of expanding our names to Veterans Network Champions Club because I think that really speaks to kind of what we've done already. And this is actually our new theme, our new mission statement slash tagline, which is really speaks to what we are doing. So we pretty much the mission statement that I have for my organizations and those that are in my organization is championing veterans' growth, development, and success. That's basically what we do here, right? So when it's all said and done, that is our mission statement. That is our, ethos, our tagline, kind of what we do, and that's what we do, right? We sit here and champion these causes because if we don't, who else will? So all we have is ourselves, so we're going to do this. So this Gary Vaynerchuck opportunity is us doing that same thing of championing our veterans' growth, development, and success, who are in the artistic space, who want to go into NFTs, who want to start businesses, who want to trade, who want to apply for benefits, who want to file a VA disability claim, because we have VSOs, because we have subject matter experts, because we have people who are artists, because we have a swag shop that creates art, creates things. This was created by a veteran organization, FG Apparel. You know what I mean? We have all these different things that are available that folks can have access to. So again, and of course, our name being expanded to Veterans Network Champions Club. So being part of the club gives you membership and access to what we do, and that's what we do. So a lot of changes happening in real time, but I just wanted to at least kind of get some of those administrative things out there for those. So we're going to be sharing the Discord link. We'll be sharing some of the updates. But yeah, a lot of crazy stuff in this week.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Blech. um, Brian, thoughts? What's running through your mind?
I just love that the way things have been unfolding over the past couple of weeks, and as we've, and everybody can expect some facelifts to the webpage, like DP said, and as we've been able to provide and roll out these services that and being able to DP having the good fortune and of being able to connect with GaryVee and the awesome offering and opportunity that Gary's putting forth for the veteran space. Man, it's just I just love seeing things rolling in a just an incredibly good fortune path for what we ultimately hope to do, and that's just serving. Absolutely, you know, to basically just keep promoting the veteran space and all of those out there that who feel like they might have been forgotten or overlooked or insignificant. There's opportunities, and just keep looking out. There's going to be more.
Yep, yep. So a lot of good things are definitely on the way. Let's see. I wanted to also just do a quick plug here to one of our projects that we're rolling out at DFMN
Oh yes.
dot art. DFMN dot art. It's an inside joke that became a thing, and literally we're working with different projects. These are all the artistic pieces. One of my jackets with one of my NFTs embroidered. Some of the art that we have, you'll see there showing up as well. I literally have it all around me, so that's why I always pull it out. The Boonjis that we have, these are some of the NFTs, projects that we supported, even on bricks. So literally, and obviously these are some of the NFTs that we hold as well. So literally we have a virtual gallery that we'll be sharing so you can see all the NFTs that we hold, and be able to display it, very tastefully. So that's coming as well for you all to see that piece. But there's physical art as well, and this is something again where it's like, when did I ever think I'd be talking about art and all these type of things? But yet here we are. So DFMN dot art. That is by FG Apparel, Ronis, and the team. We're working behind the scenes supporting this project, helping those in the NFT space. And for those that are trying to figure out how to remember the name, it's quite simple. It's Don't Forget My Name. Dot art. That's what it stands for. So that's what it comes down to. Everything is very intentional in the sense of saying, hey, you know what? Don't forget our names. Don't thank us for our service. Give us your business. Like, yes, thank you, but now let's take it to the next step. We don't want hand-me-outs. We don't want charity. We want to be respected and given the opportunity to be equal players. So go ahead and give us that business. You want to print your NFT? Well, head on over to dfmn.art. Don't forget my name. We're here. We're not going anywhere. And we're partnering with other projects and other organizations doing their swag. So a lot of amazing things on the way as well on that regard. So this is creating opportunities and business lines for organizations that are supporting us. So here is a minority veteran-owned company that's partnered with us, that's part of us, that's a sister company. I don't care. I don't know how many ways to kind of say kind of what we are, symbiotically, Siamese twins, but this is what it's about. I mean, it's a high tide rising all boats. So one of the amazing organizations and projects that we're doing. So more of this will be following, but I wanted to do a quick shout out because that's where you have literally all this stuff being created. This hat, literally. So all this is mine. I hold the IP. I own this NFT. I in turn had one made for a hoodie. I have my monkey on my hat, and literally, it's us kind of taking it to the next level of taking NFTs and creating the physical art of that as well. So we're kind of going from both angles here, right? We're taking regular artists to the NFT and then taking NFTs to the regular physical. So we're doing quite a few different things. Amy, some of your thoughts as we begin to segue. If you guys have questions, because I know we gave you a whole lot, so maybe it's like, but Discord and all these things are going to create better opportunities for you all to engage with us and reach out to us. So there's a lot of more stuff coming. So this is your warning order. But what are you thinking, Amy?
So is this closing thoughts?
Well, we're about to
Then
get there. If
we're
anybody has
wrapping
any
it up.
questions, but yeah, share your.
So I already kind of said about the NFT and the crypto stuff. I mean, it's interesting, and it's every week I learn something more. So I always appreciate that. And I'm thankful for you pushing us because I'm playing a little bit now and I'm getting a little bit braver in
Heyo.
some spaces. So that's been interesting. And it's funny because I never would have thought I'd see myself here a year ago for sure. And now talking about building a team and doing investing and doing all the things, it's pretty cool. So it's been fun. So I would say, like Lisa had said something about if she can understand it, then anybody can understand it. And I feel like that's kind of how I feel about it, knowing nothing about it and then slowly getting into it. So I still have a lot to learn, but excited for it. And I would say remember during the holidays to check on your strong friends. The heaviest thing to pick up is a phone. And, I think holidays can be tough. And so just trying to be present for people or reach out to people or phone a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time, especially those that don't come across as if they need that phone call are probably the ones that need it more than anybody. So I'm personally trying to do that at least once a week, reach out to somebody that I haven't talked to in a while. And so I think just being supportive and holding space for your fellow veterans or family, whoever is in need. And yeah, I think that's about it. It's going to be a busy month and I think it's going to go by quick. Fun things to come. And that's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Before we
Thank
go to
you.
Brian, just because
I
I
should have sang happy birthday to
no,
you.
no, we're past that now. The battery ran out.
Oh my god, my
We're
mic
we're
doesn't
jumping into the
work.
metaverse, people. We're going into the
No.
We're
metaverse.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
let's look at the gallery.
Yeah.
So
So
sorry.
this is not a. This is we had to upgrade, get another gallery. So this is one of our virtual galleries that we have. We have a few of them. But these are some of the different NFTs that we hold. Literally, this one couldn't fit everything, so we just kind of stopped midway. But here are a few different projects that we have. Obviously, there's a few missing that we haven't put up yet as it stands, but you'll see some pretty cool stuff that we have gallery wise. So yeah, we'll be posting that as well here shortly. But wanted to do a quick gallery pop in there.
Yeah, that new gallery is going to look really sexy.
Yeah, it's going to look crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Over to Brown.
Um, yeah, just stay tuned. There's, as you gather, I mean, it's like DP just kind of unloaded all this great stuff that's going on. So yeah, just stay frosty, as they say, and don't be afraid to jump in and start engaging in things that you're new with. Um, we're here and we work and do this stuff right alongside you. So don't be afraid to try new things.
Oh, look at that.
And
What do we have over here, Brian? What's this? Who's this little guy
hey,
over
look at
here?
there. That's my average dad. He's my metaverse twin. So yeah. No, but it's just whether we can help you with your VA benefits stuff, the trading services, those are awesome. Just couldn't wait till those were unwrapped, and the new versions that's going to be coming down the road, in some months down the road. So yeah, just great stuff unfolding, and particularly as we explore and explode on the NFT scene.
This is a few of the ones that we have that again, it's a lot to put these things in different
Just,
places.
just
But
a
this is
couple.
by far one of the cool ones right here. This was a little movie
Yes.
made by an artist that actually did it for me, and he put my little initials on it and actually created a veteran DP NFT. So that was pretty cool. We go to his page. I think we can actually see some of the different things that he's done. He actually did one for Brian also. I think I should be able to
Yep.
see it
Yep.
by sorting it by recent. But he got a Humvee as well, so that was pretty cool.
Had my
Um,
initials on it.
did he put your initials on it too?
He did. He did.
What did he put? V.
B. I think he just put BEL my initials. I have to go
Yeah,
back.
there you go. I got it.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and this is Brian's custom NFT that was drawn just for him. You see a little BL on it, so supporting artists that are up and coming and doing some stuff. So, real good guy doing some pretty cool, amazing things. So
Yeah.
just highlighting that. But this is one of the airdrops. Actually, here's a little physical sculpture that I showed earlier, which is again pretty cool. So this is can't wait to get that. But this is something that was dropped. So this is actually going to be one of our galleries. So it's going to be the Hive, pretty much, as you can see. We'll kind of have our art in there, so you'll be able to go in the metaverse, take a look at that. So this will be pretty interesting. This is one of the projects that we're also working closely with called House of Kiba. So this will be pretty amazing. And when it comes out, like I said, you all will be able to go through the metaverse into the Hive, which will be what will showcase our art, and you'll be able to actually see it, walk around, take a look at stuff. So some pretty amazing things. So this was something that was airdropped to us because of the membership that we have. Excuse me, with this project. So I get some good comments here. So let me pull these up. Let's see. Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Happy birthday to me. Operation Rocky, what's going on, brother? You guys are awesome. Congrats, CP and Veterans Network team. Awesome. Operation Rocky. If you haven't checked them out, please go and do so. Go ahead and pop your website as well, brother, so we can go ahead and have that shown for folks to go see what you're doing and support on your side of the house. okay to DM on Discord, I can make you a promise right now. Literally, yes, but I may not be able to get back just because of the volume of everything from emails and stuff like that. So, the best way to get in contact with me is veteransnetwork.club. Contact us, and that email goes then to my executive assistants, our operation manager, and they collate through all that. So the information overload has been amazing. One thing I wanted to say was that has been very humbling is we have got some messages the passion and all that you see me display about this. Really, it's on the heels of what's been happening this week, which is we have got messages from people who have been retired for a long time. And for a veteran to come out and say, look, I don't write about myself, I don't share about myself, but I have to say something because of this opportunity. That is a game changer to me to be able to see someone share something and write an email and say, hey, DP, I saw what GaryVee tweeted and I want to get behind that and I want to support what you guys are doing. And this is my story. And I don't believe anyone would have paid attention, but I believe that, I have a chance to say something. And I think that is something that means a lot to me and is powerful because of the fact that we have the opportunity now to tell that story. So I really just wanted to kind of emphasize that the amount of support and what's been happening and people reaching out has been amazing. If you guys want to go down the rabbit hole of supporting us on some of this stuff, I would say Twitter is where I have this completely different life, which is all NFT and things that are happening. So you'll see some of the people that we've met, some of the projects that we're supporting. So this is just amazing stuff, and obviously we're plugging in things we're doing on the veteran space. So it's quite a lot of information here, but you can follow us there and check out some of the amazing things that we're doing. But pretty cool stuff for sure that's coming down the pipeline. But I just wanted to give a quick shout out to that. Brian, sorry, back to you.
No, nothing really more to add. I mean, we're just looking for the artist to. Well, we're actually quite a few responses, a lot of responses to the artist call out. So it really has been heartwarming and just exciting to see that opportunity. Even the spouses, getting involved and just the enthusiasm and excitement that they've expressed. So yeah,
The
this
veteran
is
spouses, that's been amazing.
yeah. So I mean, you're right. Seeing the responses to this has been really incredible. So that's awesome. But it might sound like you're going through the red tape if you go to our website and do the contact us, but that really actually does get to DP and us much faster. So yeah, that's a good way to go.
Yeah. So yeah, those are some of the things that I would say for sure. Expect some more great things coming down the pipe. Let's see here. So let me pull up here a few things. Jerry, thank each of you for pushing us to new heights, new skills, new belief in ourselves. See you in 2 weeks. Yes. Which is a good answer to this. Are you doing it every Friday? No, we're doing it every other Friday as time permits. So we're kind of flip flop. We're kind of going every other week at the moment. So depending on demand, we may kind of switch schedules around. But I think it wouldn't be fair for me to steal these amazing people every Friday. So we kind of flip it around, but we'll be having some changes now with things kind of coming. So it'll be interesting. Shout out to Gino, who gives a shout out to us. Shout out to y'all for bringing this great content. Boonji bless you. Indeed. 1.1 million
Gino.
artwork sold today and the Roblox deal. So Roblox partnership with Boonji. Man, look, don't get us started in that. That's a whole nother thing. We're gonna
Yes,
start
yes,
vets.
yes.
We actually have a show concept that we've recorded a few episodes. We haven't released it yet. Vets talking crypto with Brian, me, Gino, and Ronis. So yeah, see us talking all kinds of nonsense. It'll be interesting. Um,
That should be
That'll be
very
good.
interesting.
let's see. He subscribed to everything on Discord. Yeah, pretty much. I have someone who has to do that for me at this point. Manuel, thank you all for what's your information. You're welcome. But this is what it's about. You know what I mean? I think we're here to serve, and we have more opportunities to serve. So, stay tuned in what's happening. Share the information, invite someone, plug someone over. There's a lot of good things coming, but the next evolution of where we're going will require us to not only put our best foot forward, but it also is going to require us. Uh, Glenn said, Amy, do you need a hug? You look emotional right now. Um, You're
Thank
muted.
you,
If you just, there
Glenn.
you
You're
go.
so nice. Glenn is so nice.
It's Air Force thing.
That's because he's Air Force.
See, I knew she was gonna say that.
I have like something in my throat and I can't stop coughing. But thank you.
Mask.
But what I was
So
gonna say was the next evolution of what's coming is gonna require us to really kind of band together, support each other, help these artists that are able to potentially take a step forward, and show up not only with our presence, but show up with our checkbooks, show up with support. You know, what I mean, patronize, support our businesses that are out there, right? For those watching, don't just thank us for our service. Give us your business. Go to don't forget my name.art. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and support that at the acronym. Go to veteransnetwork.club. Check out our swag shop. Support the veterans behind the scenes doing all these things. So that's what this is about. At the end of the day, it's about supporting and doing some amazing things. But we're creating pathways, and we want your support, and we want you to ride with us. So again, like we've always done, it was 5 people watching, 20 people watching, 2,000 people watching, 2 million people watching. We're gonna keep doing it the way we do it, no matter what. Shout out to LB,
And
outstanding show as
KB.
usual. Thank you for the good info. Watching from
Nice.
Manila. KB is in
KB.
the Philippines as well. KB is one of the
Nice.
amazing folks that is behind the scenes and has probably
Incredible.
the worst job. I'm pretty sure there's laws against what KB has to deal with. She is my executive assistant and pretty much handles the mess that is the multiple mailboxes that I have in different places. So God bless her and keeping me on task and like DP, answer this thing, do this thing. I'm like, oh crap, don't hit me. So she's on the back end with Richelle, keeping the lights on, putting things in place as we grow and do amazing things. So, um, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Joe, for hanging out with us this evening. Appreciate you all so much. We'll have Joe on and Maria on and some of the other
Yes.
folks on as we come forward. So, as we begin the process of kind of talking to some of these potential artists and begin to send the first advent party, the first wave, we'll get them on to talk about their art, talk about their why, so you all can get exposed to that. And I think that's what's going to be amazing, right? It's literally saying, hey, we have the ability to start talking about things that like literally think for a second. Amy reached out the other day. She said, "Hey, my portfolio is growing on my crypto side. You know what I mean? I think I'm gonna go ahead and get some more stuff. Like, let that marinate for a second. Like, Brian, when did you think you'd be actually collecting art and you'd be in this space at this stage in your life, realistically?
Other than the art that my mom gave me, no.
And that's what we have the ability to do to completely change the narrative and go and do some amazing things. And I'm telling you, this is taking over. I'll give you this because, again, some people, I tried to say this to a few folks. I was like, you may recognize this name, Robert Mondavi Winery, right? And I usually say not because of the liquor. And someone's like, yes, because of the wine. I remember it. Um, but Robert Mondavi, kind of a big deal in the wine space if you know kind of what these things are. And look at what they are doing. They are literally partnered with Bernard, and they're minting 1,900 porcelain wine bottles offered exclusively through a one-of-a-kind NFT. So they're literally launching a NFT for this. So now imagine this for 1 second. This is Mondavi. This is wine. This is regular world. And this is not going to be cheap. Let's just put it out there. This is about a $3,000 bottle, right? So let's just, NFT. So the NFT now has a utility to where you own a piece of this NFT, and it has a utility to give you access to this specific, uniquely designed porcelain bottle that you also have the ability to collect. So literally, when you start looking at being able to be part of things like this partnership between the Mondavi and the Bernard family and what they're doing. Again, you can check this out over at the website here at nft.robertmondavi mondaviwinery.com. But some amazing things that they're doing. And literally, it's one of those things of like, when in the heck did I ever think to myself that I would, have a bottle of porcelain wine that I can redeem whenever I want? Because that's the beauty about this NFT. I literally showed y'all that I have a token to redeem a physical work of art of Brendan Murphy that I can redeem
Yep.
when I want. And I tell you, that's one of those things that I don't think people realize when it comes to this Boonji project, for example, one that we're heavy on. Shout out to Boonji. It always comes back down to the Boonji because it's one of the things we like. But For example, if you guys don't know who Brandon Murphy is, he's kind of a big deal in the art space. He's done some things, and a lot of artists hold his art, and he just does some amazing things. His sculptures, literally one sold today for $1.1 million in Miami. This guy's been doing some amazing, amazing stuff. I'm talking about, people that own his stuff are renowned artists, the Serena Williams and so forth. Like, this stuff is crazy. I mean, this is stuff that literally, look at the size of this, to put in perspective next to this person. A lifestyle thing, one of these, like again, it went away, got sold today. Amazing paintings. I think I'll stab somebody for this one right here.
Oh yeah.
This is literally one on my to-do list. Like, I'm going to get one of these things at one point. This one specifically. I love this one. So it's between me and Gino. If they put a knife in the middle, we're gonna duke it out. But this is just amazing, amazing to be able to get this fingerprint art piece. But he has so many other pieces, so many other things that he's doing. That's just amazing. But my point is, look at that for a second. I literally just showed you, art in this space. We literally just looked at the Mondavi, collection on this side of the house. Like, this is what's happening in the world. Access to this. And as veterans, to have a conversation about collecting art and being able to hold these things as conversation pieces, to be able to trade these things, to be able to hold assets. That's what these things are. Like, if you own the Mona Lisa, think about what that means. Think about what it means to be one of the first movers in this space. Again, not everything will flourish, like the .com bubble, right? But the question is, were you able to find the Facebooks, the Amazons, the Googles of the world? Some may not make it, but we're here, and we can all, benefit from this, no matter where you're at. You don't have to go and get a Mondavi bottle NFT because it's way out of your price range. No, start somewhere small. There's different ways to get there. These are the things that we'll have conversations about. Hey, if I was starting, where would I start? Because, again, I got into the game in 2017. Shout out to Dusty. I think his son Mason is watching as well. It's funny. I literally reconnected with him yesterday, which was amazing. But, this is what it's about, having conversations, talking about these things, and elevating ourselves, right? So, join us for the ride. It's going to get interesting. It may be scary. It may be completely out of your range. It might be like, I don't think I could do this. I don't think I could do it either, but look at me here. Look at me now. Look at what's here. Look at what we're doing. So we have the ability to do this, and the biggest thing is you're not doing it alone. So, again, if you're an artist, great things are coming. We want to create opportunities. If you're a veteran, we want to create opportunities. Again, going back to, what we're talking about, this is what we ascribe to do. This is what we're here to create. This goes back to our mission statement, championing veterans' growth, development, and success, period. So if you're an artist, this applies. If you're a business person, this applies. If you're aimless, this applies. The fact of the matter is, we have the ability to do these things and support each other. So please understand that we didn't serve alone, and we don't have to do these things alone. And that's what this is all about. You don't have to go at it alone, so don't feel like, oh, I'm scared or I don't know. No, we're going to support each other. We're going to try our best, and slowly more will come to the fold to support us. So shout out to Gino for the Boonji plug again. $1.1 million today. Ridiculous. Roblox partnership. Let's see here. Shout out to Rick. Says thank you. Good seeing you guys again. Let's see. God bless the assistants that have support us leaders. Yeah, look, I can't do what I can't do with other teams. It's a team effort. But that's all we have. So we appreciate you all. Again, more to follow. Stay tuned. Wherever you saw this, we'll post our Discord link and all the things that are coming. So make sure you're following us and you're sharing this on YouTube, because that's going to be a big piece of what we do here going forward as well. So that is all that I have as we get ready to roll. Let's go ahead and give the people some good vibes.
Just another sunny day.